drilled. Deep left field. Gone!
A crosstown series in faces. The White Sox and the Cubs together again for the finale of 2022. Between these two teams here at Guaranteed Rate Field after the Sox swept Wrigley and the Cubs took game number 1 yesterday on the Sox home turf. On the mound today, Dylan Cease looking to bounce back, and he will face Marcus Stroman, the former Blue Jay, who the Sox are going to look at for the first.
He's going to lead the way because his career against the Cubs is outstanding, hitting .351. He's hit 12 home runs. We could use a few of those this afternoon.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good plan. In fact, the Sox have slugged the ball very well against the Cubs since 2020. It's the 4th highest slugging percentage by any team against one other team across baseball.
A disturbing trend is the starting pitching has not been good. .479. That means that they're 7th highest in the major league.
Yeah, that's a pretty big number, and we'll see if the Sox can take advantage of that at Stroman today. Frank Schwindel went down to AAA for a very brief time a couple of weeks ago. Since he's come back, he and Wisdom have been awesome.
Dylan Cease has been striking out a whole lot of guys. He's 4th in the major leagues with 71 strikeouts. He needs a bounce back, and today is a good day for it.
That would be a good day. It's a beautiful day, great day to pitch in, great day to hit in, great day to take in baseball, isn't it?
It is all of that and more.
We'll find out what the more is when we come back.
Chicago is brought to you in part by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. Ford. The 2022 Ford F-150 is tougher and smarter than ever before. For special offers, visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com today. Xfinity. Supercharge your home with supersonic Wi-Fi. Unbeatable internet, only from Xfinity. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
You may have heard over the course of time that Dylan Cease was a high school draft pick of these Cubs in the 6th round 8 years ago, and he is on the mound against his former franchise this afternoon. So Dylan Cease, it's been sort of an on-again, off-again the last 4 starts.
Yeah, I think that he's had good stuff at times and then lost his command at other times. But you look at the last 4, and 2 of them were not really good. But they're Boston, the Yankees, KC, and Boston. So some pretty good offenses there. And as you can see, he had some problems with Boston the last time out. In fact, a whole lot of problems. Hopefully today he establishes his breaking ball early because the fastball is usually pretty good.
We'll see what he throws in the first couple innings against this Cubs lineup that scored a few runs late to take game number 1 yesterday. It's the finale. We say farewell to the Cubs for the year in the regular season. Coming up next from Guaranteed Rate Field.
This one is gone. Abreu wins the dance to the bag. Hayward falling to the ground puts it away. That is a White Sox victory to open the series at Wrigley Field. Wisdom goes deep, and this ball gets out of here. Into the wall to make the grab, and the Sox will leave with a sweep in hand.
A spectacular day for baseball, 79 degrees. It is a breezy day once again, but warm and wonderful at Guaranteed Rate Field.
It's summer resort weather, and it's time for the offense to come out and play. And hopefully behind Dylan Cease, they can split this series, win the season series, and make everybody except David Ross very happy.
Well, you know, David's a nice guy, but,
yeah,
you know, you'd rather win. Time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. That's weighted runs created plus league average is 100. Christopher Morel has had a breakout start to his major league career at 22 years old. Contreras had the home run robbed yesterday, all the way down to Andrelton Simmons batting ninth.
There's Dylan Cease on for his 10th start. His ERA, 4 1/4. That was blown out of proportion in a couple of games, but 71 strikeouts and 46 2/3. That is elite stuff. And as you can see, the four-seamer at 42%, the slider right behind it at just about 35%.
Dylan Cease with the first inning presented by Toyota. He throws what's called ball one.
That actually is not a good sign because Ted Baird is behind the plate and he missed the first one. Ryan Knight's at first, Nick Lentz is at second, and Nestor Seja is at third.
On 1-0. That's fouled away just to our right. 1-1.
There's the key matchup. Schwindel with a home run. Ortega 2 for 6. Contreras 2 for 8 with a home run. Morel has led off 4 times the last 4 games and been on base each time. 3 hits and a walk.
Well, he's been on base every game he's played Major League Baseball so far.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Brian Knight said no on the swing, so 2-1 on Morel, just 22 years old, out of the Dominican Republic.
Former infielder, now playing center field.
Dylan shakes him down with a fastball. 3-1. Cubs come in 19-26. They are 9 games off in the NL Central. The Sox 5 games behind Minnesota for first in the AL Central. That's a strike. 3-2.
Well, he's 1 for 2. That one had a little piece of it.
A skosh of the plate.
But that slider was right there.
3-2. Struck him out on a slider. 1 gone.
Well, Dylan told us he doesn't care what the situation is, whether it's leading off a ball game or a key situation later in the game. He's going to use all of his pitches all the time. This is that hard-breaking slider, and if you can get this near the plate, nobody's going to hit it because it drops straight down, which for a slider is pretty unusual.
It's slurvy, almost.
I mean, comes in with a lot of velocity at 87.
1 down for Contreras.
The question is, do you hold on to him or do you move him as an organization builder? Tough decision.
So I have a question for you regarding that.
Sure.
You asked the first question, but I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
How many great catchers are there in baseball right now?
Not all that many.
How many do you think?
Great catchers?
Yeah, great like elite catchers.
You mean the combination of catching it, calling it, hitting it, throwing it?
Yep.
5.
Right.
Maybe 4.
And he's part of that, right?
I would say so, yes.
Wouldn't you then say the value is pretty tall and you could get quite the return?
I would say you can get a terrific return. The question being, how deep is your system? Do you need that return or not?
We're here to ask questions but not answer them.
Yeah, I mean, because, look, we don't know the Cubs system top to bottom. And if the system is strong, if they have a lot of guys in the next wave coming up, then you can move him. If you don't have a lot of guys, it's good to build with the catcher, and David Ross certainly knows that because that's a tough position to handle behind the plate every day.
That is a filthy slider, and Contreras is sent away. Dylan Cease 2 down.
Well, Dylan Cease probably a little aggravated with the last time out. Not so today. I mean, that's 2 miles an hour better than the last slider he threw. And this one looks like a strike all the way and then just disappears. There's not a man on the face of this planet that can hit that pitch. You have to lay off it or you're going to swing and miss it.
And how many people do you think really would know that that's going to end up as a ball? I mean, not many.
Well, because of the spin. You know, you're talking about 89 miles an hour, and a hitter's mind is like a computer. He sees the velocity a guy has and knows what it takes to get the head of the bat out in front. But that one looks like a fastball all the way, and then just the bottom falls out.
Heater for a strike, splitting the plate for Ian Happ, who was 0 for 4 yesterday with a walk and a strikeout.
It's kind of interesting because sometimes early hitters will go back to the bench and they'll say, what does he have?
The answer is good stuff today, I think.
The answer is, if you get a hit, you're going to be very fortunate today.
Yikes.
That's some overwhelming breaking balls.
A well-crowded guaranteed rate field. And time now for the Insure on the Spot starting lineup for the Sox. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Today, Jake Berger jumps into the 3 spot after a 3-hit day yesterday, followed by Abreu, and then Grandal and Sheets. Adam Engel up to 7. Josh Harrison back at 9 today.
Marcus Stroman, a free agent acquisition in the wintertime, on for his 8th start. His ERA just about 4 3/4. But 36 strikeouts and 36 1/3, only 9 walks to go with it. And left-handers, as usual against the right-hand pitcher, have better luck. He throws the sinker a lot, 34+% of the time. The slider backs it up at 22. Then the cutter, the four-seamer, and the splitter almost interchangeable.
Last 4 starts, just 3 walks for Stroman, and a first pitch base hit to right for Tim Anderson. We've seen that before.
This looks like a carbon copy of what Tim does when he's going well. Just dumps it into right field in front of Ortega, and a great way to start because, as we've told you many times in many places, when he gets on to lead off an inning, it's tough to stop him from scoring. You've got to be careful on the secondary lead because you never know if they want to go behind you. And Stroman also has a very, very quick move to first base. That's one of the things he's always done well.
Hyper aware of that runner over at first. And now Andrew Vaughn looking for his first hit of this short series. Tim was sliding into his leadoff at first, then slid back as Stroman came toward the plate. When I say sliding, I mean just 1 step to the left or right.
Your job as a base runner is to be moving when the pitch is on the way to home plate.
There he goes. It's a breaking ball away, and Tim got a really nice jump, and he hooked the bag. He's safe.
That wasn't a bad throw by Higgins. However, Tim got a great break on Stroman. You see it here. He's actually got a 2-step jump. The throw is on the third base side of second, and all catchers and all infielders will tell you there are no outs on the third base side of second.
That stolen base really happened on the first pitch. He was sizing up that lead off the first pitch and then stole second base on the second pitch.
It's up to Andrew here. At the very least, you'd like to get Tim to third base after this at bat.
That was a slider that was near the outside corner, still 1-2.
Andrew didn't want to leave it in the hands of Ted Barrett, so he went after it, trying to defend with a couple of strikes.
Strike 3 on a sinker below the zone, 1 gone. Jake Berger, since coming up from AAA Charlotte, has shown some massive power. This was off a Rich Hill to give the Sox the lead.
He's hit 2 curveballs out of the park. I think if I'm Jake, I'm thinking about fastballs and sliders today as opposed to that curveball.
That's what Stroman features. He also throws that cutter slider sort of hybrid.
Well, they want to test him inside to see if he can hit that pitch in. That ball was a couple inches inside, and now Jake's ahead in the count.
See how strong that power is as Tim got into a walking lead, and it's popped up first base side. Very windy day. Schwindel against the wind squared it up nicely for out number 2.
The wind very much a factor today, and it's blowing straight out to left center field.
Might be good news for this gentleman, Jose Abreu.
He started to heat it up recently, and he usually heats it up very well when he sees Cub uniforms 60 feet 6 inches away.
Well, you just see the comfort in his at-bats, don't you, over the last week and a half?
A lot different. I think he realizes now that he can take that inside fastball and just dump it into right or right center field.
First pitch slider to him for ball one. Question is, how much do you think he's going to get a chance to hit here, considering what he's done against the Cubs, considering what he's done the last week?
I truly believe that if Stroman gives him, especially a fastball that's too good to hit, it would be a mistake.
Like that?
That was right down the middle, and Jose just fouled it straight back. Watching the game yesterday, I saw a lot of the Sox hitters expanding their strike zone up. And usually that's not a particularly good sign, because you cannot get on top of it if you have any kind of elevation in your swing. So you either lay off or you miss it or pop it up.
Swing and a miss on that sinker, which has some good life today so far. He's thrown a couple of very nice two-seamers.
Well, the Cubs brought in Marcus Stroman to help solidify this rotation. And at his best, he's still very good.
On 1-2. Oh, that was a slider that Jose tipped foul, and you see what Jose's done against the Cubs the last 26 games. That is massive.
Very impressive overall, and none of that was accomplished against Marcus Stroman, however. So hopefully it'll be the uniform as opposed to the pitcher.
He's a newcomer to this rivalry of Abreu versus the Cubs.
He is that.
One ball and two strikes. In the air, right field. Ortega makes the catch to retire the side. Tim left at second. No score after one.
Play ball!
Wow, how about that? The winner of the Wintrust Crosstown Southside Sweepstakes, Janet and Tommy Pagano, are attending today's game, and Tommy just had the chance to announce play ball before first pitch, courtesy of Wintrust, Chicago's bank. Sounded like he was doing a Sam Kinison impersonation.
I thought he was imitating the lead singer from AC/DC.
That's a very good one, yeah. That was outstanding. Good job by Tommy there.
Very nice, very enthusiastic. I like that.
That top of the strike zone has not been available so far for Ted Barrett behind the plate.
No, and Dylan's going to have to adjust to Ted Barrett, because Ted will not adjust to him.
Why not?
You would like him to.
Yeah.
But look, there's an adjustment. Dylan's been throwing great sliders low and away. He throws another great slider low and away and gets the call.
So it's 1-1.
Yeah.
And they all even out.
Oh, sure. If you pitch a good game, they do even out.
I think we should have Cliche Sunday on the telecast. It's a swing and a tip, 1-2 to Schwindel.
It's not going to happen this time, but 3 pitch strikeouts have become the specialty of Dylan Cease. 17 times instead of 3 pitch strikeout. That leads major league pitchers. That's pretty impressive. That shows you just overwhelming stuff.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch number 4 to Schwindel is on the ground toward third. It's Jake Berger for round number 1. Time now for the big story, presented by Mattress Firm, the official sleep wellness partner of Major League Baseball. Always special, Cubs and Sox. In the history of this series, the Sox are +7, but the runs are unbelievably close.
It's pretty amazing. As many times as they've played, you see 1 run difference.
I mean, how does that even happen?
Well, it's the ebbs and flows, my friend. Ebbs and flows.
But every series should then have ebbs and flows.
And they do, and sometimes they equal one another as they ebbed and they flowed together.
It's like Stan Musial, right? With the same number of hits in the home and road.
Yeah, that truly is astounding.
1 ball and 1 strike for Wisdom, who had 2 runs driven in yesterday with that double in the first, then the RBI ground out in the 7th. Second inning brought to you by Menards. And it's 1-2. This is good stuff today.
Well, fastball's a little extra lively, and if you make a good pitch to Wisdom, you're going to take him down. He's going to strike out because he does that a lot. I would suggest another one of those unhittable sliders. But this guy, if he catches it, he can hit it a long way.
Slider well off the plate, 2-2. Ooh.
Very patriotic.
Very nice. It's like a bomb pop in a cup.
It's like good Italian ice or sorbets.
You can't tell me you don't want one of those right now.
Oh, sure.
That's your favorite.
That would be delightful.
3-2 to Wisdom, who's got 4 homers in his last 8 games, and it seems like he goes on one of those offensive jags once a year. Down low, ball 4. It's a 1-out walk for Wisdom. Your 2022 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Did you know there's an easy way to consolidate your high interest debt?
I did.
Great. Well, for more, visit rate.com today. And to catch all the action on the field, secure your spot with a ticket package. Full and partial plans are available right now. Sox will be on the road after this game from Tuesday to Sunday in Tampa and Toronto to take on 2 of the top 3 teams in the AL East. Over third into left. Berger was playing in, and it's a base hit for Ortega.
That's the advantage of having the reputation that you might lay down a bunt, because when they bring him into the corners, in this case at third base, he can't get to it. This is off the end of the bat, but hit well. You see where he is. He's on the grass.
So now a double play would be very nice. And Nico Hoerner, the batter. He has swung the bat very well recently. 3 for 4 in the game yesterday.
I thought he looked like a guy that was just getting better when we saw him at Wrigley Field. The question was not could he hit the ball, because everybody suspected that he will hit the ball. The question was, could he play everyday shortstop? Then they get Andrelton Simmons, and a lot of people feel, well, this is a Gold Glove shortstop. Will he supplant Hoerner and maybe move Hoerner to second base? That wasn't the case, because the Cubs believe Hoerner is their future. They know that Simmons, although a terrific glove man, probably is here for a short time. But they envision Hoerner to be here for a long time.
25-year-old shortstop who had his 3rd home run the other day, and there's certainly more power than that in the bat, although that's a career high right now, as that's a called strike. Right center field, Adam Engel makes the catch, and 2 down.
That was well positioned. Hoerner hit the ball very well, but Adam Engel was right there.
Yeah, that's one of those circumstances when people say, well, why would you shift? Why do you do this? Sometimes you get beat on it. If you're playing straight up, there's a good chance that's down for at least a run.
Well, it would be that, and if you're going to use that fastball inside to Hoerner, maybe you position it differently. But it's one thing to put the defense in a spot. It's another thing to allow the pitcher then to pitch into the way the defense plays.
First pitch, ball 1. Here's the positioning as the pitch was coming.
For instance, if you're going to go with a lot of slow breaking balls inside, you're not going to play him like that. You're going to play him more to pull. They're playing him up the middle and to right of center. You see where Tim was lined up. That's important because they think Hoerner's going to go some semblance of back up the middle.
Now Higgins, 2nd-year major leaguer, and it's 2-0 for him. P.J. Higgins, for his career so far, 4 for 34, a 12th round pick of the Cubs 7 years ago. There's that slider, 2-1 on 2-0 as you're talking about.
Especially willing to throw it then. But here's why the pitches pile up. Dylan Cease got well ahead of Wisdom and then walked him. Here he goes 2-0 on Higgins, who doesn't play every day, and he falls behind. So it takes you more pitches, and if you're going to strike out a lot of guys, and he normally does, that really piles up the pitches.
2-1 with 2 out. Another slider for a strike. 2-2. All right, so you got a wave and a miss on the first slider. You get a take on the second one. What's your selection here?
One more slider ends the at bat.
That was easy.
If Dylan believes he can get it over, that's the pitch.
Two and two. Fouled away.
Did a nice job of staying alive because he reached across the plate. If that ball is lower, he probably gets him on that, but it was a little bit higher, and he was able to just barely foul it off. You see the slider spin. It's out away, and because of the height, as opposed to the location, he was able to stay alive.
2-2 again. Check swing, he went around. That will do it. 2 stranded. Bottom 2 still scoreless. How many? You're not going to count out loud? You're just counting with...
Yeah, I'm counting silently.
Okay. What do we got?
Almost silently.
7, 8?
I think we were right at 7.
Nice.
I think that's 7 and 8 probably our limit on that.
You think?
Our limit on the fans and the cans.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just do it with a shorter break then, and then 11 or 12 we can slide in.
Or we could do it with no break, and then everybody would be really unhappy.
That's right. Strike 1 to Yasmani Grandal. And 1-1 to him. You know, it's interesting looking at what Yasmani has done this year. And there's a line drive to third and a nice grab. Jumping catch, beautifully done by Wisdom for out number 1.
This is what constantly amazes me in this defense. There's one guy on the left side, and that ball is hit basically right at him. I mean, you could hit it either way and had a base hit, but it goes right at him, which is probably why he was positioned there in the first place. And he robs Grandal. Stroman's pretty happy. Doesn't have the leadoff man aboard.
What I was going to say is Yasmani actually is swinging and missing less than he ever has in his career. So there's more contact there. And he's seen more pitches in the middle of the strike zone this year than he has typically as well. And the numbers just have not been there as yet. And we saw him walk twice yesterday, which might be a good sign. As here's Gavin Sheets. In the air left field. Ian Happ makes the catch. 2 down. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois has teamed up with the White Sox to move 4 lucky fans closer to the action every Tuesday night as part of the Family of the Game experience. Don't forget to bring your Blue Cross Blue Shield card for your chance to win. Blue Cross, your biggest fan, standing with you through it all.
Adam Engel seems to be hitting the ball a bit harder lately, and it's turning into some points on the batting average. He's at 240.
Swing and a miss by Engel, 0-1.
Stroman has pretty good stuff today also. That was a very good slider he threw to Adam.
A little bit low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Higgins left it there to show Ted Barrett, but it was clearly down and out of the zone.
Both catchers are working for their guys today. Stroman is dealing pretty quickly as well here this afternoon.
That was one of the few splitters he's thrown. Normally, a pitcher will save that to a wipeout pitch. He was using it on a 1-1 count. That's what he's done during the course of his career. 1 under 500, but an ERA very respectable at 3.67.
Shortstop, corner, getting over. nothing through 2.
And he normally brings with him swing and miss stuff. It's been the slider today for the most part, but he's occasionally thrown a fastball by some of these Cub hitters. Location's been pretty good. Used a few more pitches in the second than he did in the first, but all things considered, he has got that elite stuff again this afternoon.
Andrelton Simmons' first pitch attack, and it ends up in center for out number 1.
That's what you love to see. 1 pitch, 1 out.
You'll take that. Here are the swing and miss leaders in Major League Baseball.
Robbie Ray always high on that list. Burns is really good. Gausman playing for Toronto for the first time, and then Dylan Cease's 4th ahead of Garrett Cole and Frankie Montas.
3rd inning brought to you by Hyundai. Usually the good pitchers are on that list. Like usually that comports with who's having a good season if you're getting a lot of swings and misses.
Well, one of the things you don't have to worry about is the defense.
Up the middle. Second base. Josh Harrison gets Morel. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Follow our Sox Insiders at NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side. See, we started slow, but we came back. We finished strong.
We started slow because I have no idea what note you started with.
I have no idea either. As far as a note is concerned, there's a note of concern.
Steve started on Steve Flat. 3rd pitch ends up in right field, and that's up the alleyway. Gavin Sheets goes to pluck it, and he does keep Contreras to a base hit. So 3 pitches, 3 balls in play.
This is a slider that doesn't slide. And Contreras able to get a good piece of this one. Fortunately, it doesn't split the gap. Nice job by Gavin Sheets to get to it and get it back in.
Ian Happ, the batter, with Contreras at first, and we'll see if there is a pitch taken in the inning. Drum roll, please. Yes.
He's not swinging at a knuckle curve on the first pitch.
By the way, if Steve were one of the 7 dwarfs right now, he would be sneezy.
I knew there was something in the air. I just didn't know what it was. Now I find out it's pollen.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball, 0-2.
I would think going back there one more time would be a good idea. Let's see just how high that strike zone reaches for Ian Happ. Not much of a lead at first. You wouldn't expect one.
On 0-2. Came inside with a slider. Curveball, fastball, sliders so far in the sequence. This is a ground ball to the 3rd base side, and the final out of the inning. Contreras stranded. We'll go bottom 3, no score. And this is since May the 6th. The Sox have been right at 500, or 1 game below, or 1 game above every day for 24 days, and that can be maddening for fans when you see a big win and then a big loss, and then a big win and a big loss, and yet you're hanging around and waiting for that surge from the offense.
Maybe the classic illustration is winning the doubleheader in New York, coming back and getting toasted by Boston.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating for the fans because they're expecting a 5-6 game winning streak. There was one already this year, but they're looking for another one.
Especially with the way this offense played in the first half of last season, I think. You have that history of a lot of these guys putting up numbers, and it hasn't happened so far this year. 1 ball and a strike to Reese McGuire.
One of the things he can do, as we've seen, is bunt. Not that he's going to bunt for a hit, but it brings wisdom in at 3rd base. That means it's a little easier to hit the ball by him.
inside on a sinker. 2 balls and a strike on McGuire. I just wonder what you make of this offense as compared to last year and what you think the ceiling is. And I know that's a tough question with 120 games to go or so, but I wonder where you are on it.
I think the offense took off when the left-hand hitters start to hit, because there's a lot of right-handed starters around.
Tapper back to the mound. Stroman picks the hop and 1 down. This Memorial Day weekend broadcast is presented by USAA. You were saying about the left-handed hitters?
I think the way this lineup is constructed, so many right-hand hitters, and we're getting a couple more back when Robert and Eloy Jimenez come back. But because of that, there's a lot of guys with good sliders that make it tough on the lineup to hit. That falls to the left-hand hitters then to get some big hits in the middle of rallies. And so far, Kevin Sheets has not had a particularly good year. Yasmani Grandal, we've talked about, it's been a struggle for him. And that one almost got part of the helmet for Josh Harrison.
My bad, says Stroman.
Well, he's right. It slipped out of his hands. It's supposed to be low and away, and as you can see, the spin on it, Josh just able to get down and duck under it.
Fouled off his body, 1-1.
Yeah, hitters really hate when you have a good sinker and you throw it inside, because if you do foul it, and when you try to hit a sinker, most likely you're going to hit the top of the baseball. If you hit the top of the baseball and it's inside, it's coming back and hitting you. That went off the instep.
Center field, and Morel. 2 down. So Tim Anderson led the game off with a single, and then Stroman, a strikeout of Andrew Vaughn. The next 7 batters, an out on a ball in play. And here is TA. Called a strike. That's been a strike most of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you stay out there and the umpire keeps looking at sliders, maybe just off the corner. He's going to call them strikes most of the time.
To right field on a line, and a sliding drive for Ortega ends the inning. 1-2-3 in the third for the Sox. No score. SoxMatt question for today. Hashtag SoxMatt. First correct answer gets to do the video on Tuesday in Toronto. Number of extra base hits you had with the Cubs as a hitter, plus the number of extra base hits you had as a member of the White Sox.
I can remember one.
You can?
I mean, I can remember it vividly.
Really?
It was a double off the right center field wall against Pete Falcone.
Really?
I do believe they probably released him the next day, because if I can double off you, you had a problem. But I remember, I thought it was going to go out for a second, fool that I was, and it fell just short. There was an 80-mile-an-hour gust of wind blowing in from right center field that just knocked it down.
That would have ended up somewhere in, what, Wisconsin?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
so?
I got every bit of that.
So there was at least one.
Yes, at least one that I can remember.
We have a number of correct answers, and we will let you know soon who was first. Fouled away just below our booth.
This is a good combination for a foul ball up here. Not necessarily and only Schwindel, but there's some right-hand hitters that swing hard, and you got a guy on the mound that throws very, very hard.
1-2. So why is that combination susceptible to foul balls back toward us?
Because most of the fastballs that Dylan throws at 98, 99 are high. You get an uppercut swing, You get under the ball and it comes back this way.
So why don't we all inning when a batter comes up? Why don't you tell us where prime position for a foul ball with that batter is?
Okay.
As a public service for
Yeah.
fans that are watching out of the crowd.
Well, probably the next foul ball, if Schwindel does hit one, will be off to the right a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the fans are listening to this, which they're probably not because they're here watching it, get ready for the next foul ball off his bat. If in fact he hits one, it'll be off to the right of us.
Well, we're live on the concourse now.
Oh,
I believe.
That's terrific.
2-2. Well, no contact, no foul ball, just strike three, one gone.
Fourth strikeout of the day for Dylan Cease, who didn't have one in the third inning, which is very rare for him. But he starts this one out with some just big heat. 99 miles an hour, four-seam fastball. A little more life on the fastball today than we saw last time out.
What's different?
I think the last time out, his fastball was flat. I mean, it was very straight, somewhat predictable, and he wasn't getting the other stuff over the plate. See, there was a perfect one for the spot. He just didn't foul it high enough.
Well, if you were sitting directly on the net, you would have that foul ball.
We got to sell seats on the net.
You think so?
Yeah.
We do. You can go on the internet any day and buy seats.
There it is.
Here's a look at the net.
It's the line of demarcation.
Slider away, 1 ball, 1 strike to Wisdom, who walked on 6 pitches in the second.
Yeah, he got up on top of him and then lost him. Big crowd here today, as you would expect. It's just a gorgeous day. If you're going to design one to play baseball, this would be the one.
I was down on the concourse about a half an hour before game time. Just watching people come in, smell the smells of the food. Today feels like the perfect day for Major League Baseball.
So you were down there and you didn't think of getting me that 3-ball bomb pop?
I thought about it.
Briefly.
Yeah. You think you know, but you don't. 2-2 on Patrick Wisdom. I didn't know we had that until we showed it a couple innings ago.
Well, that's 2 of us.
Well, that looks good too. Although I think there's lactose in that, so that would be a little tough for you.
Yeah, but how about, oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Do you think I meant the guy's sunglasses? That is a lost art, by the way. Getting through a row with food in your hand, that is not always easy to do.
Nope. I prefer when the hot dog vendors come down, when you pass the money across.
It's ball 4 again. Second walk for Wisdom. More on that, but first, a message from Powering Chicago.
You have electrical work you need done at your home or business? Visit poweringchicago.com and click the Find a Contractor button. On time, on budget, done the right way every time. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, and they are having a great day at the ballpark. Have a big swig of water, if you're so inclined. Another beverage. Now Ortega. Ball 1. In a cashless society, we don't have the pass down the chain as much as we used to.
Yeah, it used to be.
It was a unifying force in our society, you could argue.
And everybody loves the fact that 24 people grabbed your sandwich.
That's the, oh yeah, that's sanitary. First base, it's Abreu. Throw to second. Run down is a very short one. Tim Anderson makes contact for out number 3.
Jose does that exceptionally well, getting a good angle for the throw, and it's out of the inning.
How do we get you caught up on this ball game to this point?
It's a pretty good idea. Dylan Cease has been magnificent in 4 innings, a couple of hits and no runs.
And on the other side, Marcus Stroman, 3 innings of scoreless baseball as well.
Both pitchers dominating on a gorgeous day with the wind blowing out. You don't see that too often. That was almost a hit. Stroman was ecstatic.
That was a nice play too.
Well, he's a very good athlete. That's one of the things he does well. Good pickoff moves and a good athlete on the mound.
A New Yorker at heart, Marcus Stroman. Will face Andrew Vaughn. Jake Berger, Jose Abreu. Nice play. Stroman snares it. Good athlete, you say. One down.
Yep, he is that.
Quick hands.
This one got back to him in a hurry, makes the play and flips it across.
So you remembered one of the extra base hits. You had 2 in your career, 2 doubles
There you go.
with the Cubs. None with the White Sox because, of course.
Hit some home runs in batting practice. They don't seem to count.
Did you?
Yeah.
The Weatherman 15's a winner. What was the deepest ball you hit in batting practice? Do you remember?
Yeah, I hit it off Ernie Banks. Not known for his pitching, by the way. I took it way back over the left field screen. It might still be going, but maybe not.
If not, yeah. You think you know, and this time you do.
It was in Kingman territory.
Wow. A young Dave Kingman. Stephen Michael Stone. Jake Berger takes a called strike on a fastball, 1-1.
First pitch that Jake saw was a sinker inside. Stroman's tried to establish that pitch to him, and he's going in there again.
It was high, 2-1. Jake popped out on 2 pitches in the first. .36 pitches so far through 3 1/3 for Stroman. Little hesitation on the leg kick, and he got a swing and a miss on that cutter. 2-2.
Looks like a young Marcus Stroman might have been looking at Johnny Cueto. Gave him the hesitation, then the slider out of the zone, and Jake could not check it up.
Now cleanly through the motion there, and it's bashed down the right field line by Berger toward the corner. Foul, called foul into the right field side by Brian Knight over at first.
He didn't miss by much. That ball was slicing all the way, as it always does when a right-hand hitter hits it toward the line. And it looked from here like it was foul. I think the call by Brian Knight was pretty good. We'll slow it down for you. It is indeed foul.
That is the right call. Marcus has the call for you.
He gives it to you, along with Brian Knight.
Way inside on the splitter, which he does not throw a whole lot of. He'll mix it in.
I think normally that would be for him a wipeout pitch.
Three and 2 on the ground up the middle. Perfectly played. Andrelton Simmons right up the middle for out number 2. Sox fans, don't miss your chance to see world-renowned EDM artist Cascade perform at Guaranteed Rate Field on Friday, August 12th. 7-time Grammy nominee and Chicago native will play a post-game concert presented by Tito's after the White Sox and Tigers at 6:10 p.m. For more information and to purchase your tickets, scan the QR code on the screen.
I'm not quite up on EDM artists, but what does that mean exactly?
I believe it stands for electronic dance music or electric dance music. I think it's one of the two.
Okay.
If you ever saw the Good Place on
I did.
NBC and Peacock.
Many times.
Yeah. Jason Mendoza was into EDM.
Now I get it.
Third base. Wisdom. Finally some wisdom here in the fourth. Sox.com/Sox split.
Well, you saw it's over 50,000 at this point, and it's growing exponentially and quickly.
Multiplying like rabbits.
In the neighborhood.
Fifth inning brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. Nico Horner, first pitch, check swing, and he went around, says Ted Barrett, the plate umpire, with the call all by his lonesome. Nico Horner, Stanford alum. To second base. Harrison gave some ground, got out number 1.
Tuesday on NBC Sports Chicago, before the White Sox face the Blue Jays in Toronto, join Chuck and Ozzy for White Sox pregame live. Coverage starts at 5:30 right here on NBC Sports Chicago.
What's it going to take to get a run here today?
Well, let me look.
Yeah, you look.
I'm thinking Grandal hits it hard to lead off next inning.
Really?
Then it will depend on a mistake to Sheets or Engel.
Okay.
So we'll see as we look ahead.
As we move ahead in our action. Due to time constraints.
We're going to pick it up in the 8th. No, we're going to play the others first.
Well, this has been a rapid fire first 4 innings.
They have a lot of these guys. I mean, we saw in yesterday's game the Cubs went up there very aggressively against Johnny Cueto. They're swinging at the first or second pitch a whole lot of the time. They're having pretty much the same approach with Dylan Cease.
Not going to hit that. 1-2.
No, the good fastball upstairs is tough to get on top of, and Higgins, who was a strikeout victim to end the second inning, looks like he's in a prime position to pick up a doubleheader here.
So we've seen Dylan Cease on 2 strikes a couple of times throw those non-competitive sliders. What leads to that?
Trying to make the great pitch instead of trying to make a pitch. He realizes if he gets it in the neighborhood, he's going to strike them out.
Tim at short. Nice pick. And the throw's there. Softly to Abreu.
Tim hurt himself. Tim hurt himself as he went to his left, and that's why that was an off-balance throw, and it looks to me like a groin muscle.
Tim Anderson down at shortstop. Comes James Kruk, athletic trainer for the White Sox, who's been out of that dugout all too much this year.
We've seen a whole lot of this, and this is one of the worst sights we've seen. Right there looked like it gave way just as he was going to his left to make the throw. And at first you thought it was just an off-balance throw. Then you see instantly the pain comes around.
The entire White Sox team has gathered around Tim Anderson. And he's going to need help to get off the field here.
Yeah, that's just awful.
Oh. Josh Fallon out of the dugout. The athletic training staff helping Tim Anderson off the field, and he is just so important to this team. Man, this first 45 games feels like 3 lifetimes worth of baseball.
Well, look, there's a couple things that come into play. Number one, nobody's going to feel sorry for you when you're injured. Number two, the Sox have had an inordinate amount of injuries to consequential players. This one is really difficult because Tim is the catalyst for the offense, and he's been playing much better defense maybe the last 5-6 games. So to see him go down, all of a sudden, if you are a Sox fan, and there are many of you watching this and at the ballpark today, you just wonder what's next. We have seen him on occasion hurt his legs, but we haven't seen anything as bad as this looks. And let's hope it isn't as bad as it does look, because there's a lot of pain right now.
So with that sight being one of the last ones you want to see, Danny Mendick comes in to play shortstop for the Sox. That is just awful. Andrelton Simmons, the batter. He made an out on the first pitch he saw in the third. And here he takes a called strike. Here's the roster move that got Danny Mendick here to the majors. Dallas Keuchel designated for assignment yesterday.
And if nobody picks him up, and I think it's 10 days.
10 days.
I think they have 10 days. Nobody picks him up. And that won't happen because if you do pick him up in 10 days, you're responsible for the contract. So he's going to clear that. And then he'll have the opportunity to make any deal he wants and sign with anybody he wants.
Left field. Vaughn started in. Now he turns back and makes the catch to retire the side in a 5th inning that was nondescript except for a major departure from the game.
Xfinity Mobile to their internet, an unbeatable connection only from Xfinity.
Well, when we get an update on Tim Anderson, we will let you know as soon as we know anything. But Tim leaves with an injury on a throw in the top of this inning. And now suddenly the White Sox are down one of their big time leaders, at least for the time being, as Grandal takes ball 1.
Well, now the lefties really have to pick it up. I mean, it's essential for the lefties against the better right-handed starters to start hitting the baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike for Grandal.
Wisdom goes way back to the edge of the infield. He was playing in for a squibber.
Called a strike on the corner. Yaz didn't like it. There's a defense.
On the first pitch, Wisdom was in more than halfway.
Think of Moncada's bunt double in a scenario like this. Yoan out with leg soreness today. So the left side of the infield that you expected to see at the beginning of the year, both out today. Tim just getting injured as Grandal pops it up. Wisdom fading back. He leaves it for Happ, and there's 1 out. Let's go to the studio, see what's going on. Subaru White Sox post-game live crew. Ozzie and Chuck, what do you have? Thank you. We'll again, we'll get you an update whenever we can here from Guaranteed Rate Field on the injury to Tim Anderson. Gavin Sheets serves this to right and just into that spot behind second and in front of right, and a 1-out single.
We'll get a good look at this. We're not going to see a whole lot of guys back on the outfield grass next year. Simmons almost makes the play.
I mean, Simmons was basically playing the 10 position in softball. Short center. You know, they're the short outfielder.
Very much looked like a wide receiver going out trying to catch a pass.
He did. Here's Engel on the ground, second base. Simmons for Horner, and safe the call. Little juggle by Simmons on a tough hop allowed Engel to beat it.
Remember, for Simmons, only the second game he's ever played at second base in the major leagues, and Engel with great speed able to keep the inning alive. Now this sets up the stolen base for Adam Engel. He's got to be careful of the move, but we see it here. Right there, that little bobble cost him the potential of a double play. It actually hits his body, and then finally he controls it, but it's just that instant that allowed Engel in at first.
Nice catch by Higgins there to make sure Adam didn't get a free base.
Well, he did a really good job on that one. He was testing his lead on the first pitch and went back, and then this slider bites down and in, and just a terrific catch. As Higgins able to corral it and stop any advancement.
1-1. One strikeout, no walks through 4 2/3, and 2 hits allowed for Stroman.
This might be a pretty good pitch to run. Adams getting a good lead at first. Stroman noticed it.
There he goes. Throw down to second is not in time.
It was a good pick by Simmons. The throw was not great by Higgins, but Adam Engel get a very good jump. That's the second stolen base of the day, puts him in scoring position. Throw once again on the third base side of second, and the foot is in before the tag. The only question for Nick Lentz, did the foot come off the bag? And that was answered, it did not.
Foot cam agrees.
We spare no expense to get you that foot cam.
And to think of the foresight, right? I mean,
yeah.
To say, you know what, we need foot cam for the possibility of that.
Very close plays on steals.
One and two. On the ground, up the middle. Nico Horner retires the side. We'll go to the 6th. Still nothing.
And Cease, and it's been a very good day so far. 5 innings, a couple of hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's gotten a double play behind him. He's had trouble throwing a strike to Wisdom. Other than that, he's thrown strikes to everybody and doing a great job of it. But Marcus Stroman has matched him pitch for pitch. They've both given up just 2 singles each.
Top of the order, Morel. On a check swing off the slider. He didn't go. Ball 1. Two 2-0. 6th inning brought to you by Mike's Hard Freeze. That final out, if you're keeping score at home, by the way, was 4-3. That was Simmons to Schwindel to end the 5th. Just in case, make sure your scorebook's pristine. Oh, that's a bullet just below Steve's seat.
Yeah, that one came back with a whole lot on it.
You did, to your credit. You leaned forward. You were ready to take the effort that we needed.
I was getting in a defensive position so I could shift to either side with one quick step.
The triple threat position, as they say in basketball. There's a strike, 2-2. Morel didn't like it. He is demoralized by the strike call.
Yeah, stretch. Oh,
get on back there. 2-2. Fouled off.
I think a slider here after a couple of fastballs would probably work well. And Ted Barrett walking out to give Reese McGuire a chance to collect himself. That's what umpires will do when the catcher gets hit. Catchers will do the same thing when umpires get hit. It's professional courtesy.
Two and 2. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
There was a wipeout slider, but he didn't get it in the neighborhood.
Ooh, boy.
Ice cream.
That looks outstanding. Center field. Engel's on the case. Hey, don't forget, you have until the bottom of the 7th inning to play the Sox Split 50-50 raffle presented by Wintrust for your chance to win the Crosstown Classic guaranteed jackpot of at least $50,000. Play along with an online purchase right now at whitesox.com/SoxSplit. You just saw the current jackpot up on the tote board there, over $62,000.
And remember, you can't win if you don't play. You and I have learned that conclusively.
That's true.
Because we've never won.
Nope. Wait, I think your logic was backwards.
We've never won because we haven't played.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, see,
we would have won had we played.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to recuse ourselves because we're not allowed to do that.
It's true.
It goes for a great cause.
It does.
So I took 20 out of your wallet.
Hang on. Got to check, make sure. 2 balls, no strikes on Contreras, who had the second hit of the day for the Cubs.
Now that you've fallen behind him, he is really dangerous because he does hit mistakes very well.
And Happ's hit 2 ground balls behind him. Sprayed foul. 2-1.
His brother's doing quite a job for the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he has got that team rolling.
Well, the injury to Manny Pena created an opportunity for William Contreras. And Atlanta still 8.5 back of the Mets, who seem to be unfazed by pitching injuries, and the James McCann injury, and it's a marvel what they're doing.
Well, when they talk about expansive payrolls, one of the things it allows you to do is to have guys who come in maybe off the bench that are a little better players than the normal team would have.
Sky high right hand side on 3-1, a pop up from Contreras, and Abreu makes the catch. If you want to be close to the action this season, look no further than the Wintrust Scout Seats. Enjoy unparalleled views directly behind home plate, plus exclusive access to our newly designed luxury club experience with all-inclusive food and beverage. Scan that QR code right there on that screen to learn more.
There's really a great series going on in the East, and it's the Yankees at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay trying to win that series. They're up 2-1 that game in the bottom of the 7th. But they had not seen the Yankees to this point. An oddity in the schedule, because those are the 2 teams you would think would be 1 and 2. Toronto might not yet have that pitching to be ready to play with those big boys, but you know, there's not going to be much daylight between them going down the stretch, you would think.
And speaking of Toronto, the first pitching matchup on Tuesday is Lucas Giolito against Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, that's a dandy.
Almost bit Happ there. 2-1. Yankees have a Gleyber Torres home run. Tampa's got a G-Man Choi home run and a Taylor Walls home run.
That was an upset.
Yeah.
Choi, you'd expect.
Got the outside corner on a slider. 2-2 for Happ. So all 3 runs in that game today on home runs. Three and 2 on Happ.
And we talked about William Contreras. He's 2 for 2 with a run batted in, as it's all Atlanta over the Marlins in Atlanta.
The Marlins got out to a pretty strong start. They're now 6 under 500. They're 19 and 25. And you have to imagine that a couple of those wild card spots in the National League are going to come from the West.
You would certainly think so. And Miami's got the pitching, but hitting has been problematic. And we can certainly relate to that.
Wave and a miss. Good slider right near the zone. And Cease has retired 7 straight. Congratulations to the Len Casper retro racer on his victory today. By the way, just had to mix that in.
He came from behind. Won by a step and a half.
I was in the lead, and then
yeah,
suddenly my speed failed me yet again, as it has so many times these 38 years.
But you got on top quickly. You've got to respect that.
Yeah.
Quick starter.
Thank you. One and one for Josh Harrison. You know, it's interesting the way these two pitchers have done this. Oh, I guess we're going to go back. Look at,
yeah.
I'm just like, what? Just jogging?
Yeah,
come on.
Unfortunately, you could have gone to the whip. You faded in the stretch. Darren comes in second. Len Casper wins it.
Where were you?
I was way back where I should be. Taking it easy.
Well, you got
saving it for the late season push.
I was going to say, you got a great chance at Belmont, though.
I actually thought that was Drew Carey until you told me it was Len.
Len does often say Cleveland rocks. Yeah.
It's pretty good. Be nice to get the leadoff man on.
3-2 on Harrison. I was going to say, Stroman's thrown 5 separate pitches today. Dylan Cease has thrown no changeups and 5 curveballs.
The rest fastball slider.
Rest fastball slider.
That was ball 4. But it was close enough. The question will be throwing one far enough out of the zone to walk Josh Harrison. Because in a Hollywood script, Danny Mendick would come up and do something great. When the star goes down, he comes in to replace him.
There's ball 4. And that Sox walk presented by Feldco. Get your Final Cut ready. Get your script writing software ready.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, so the leadoff man is on, representing what would be the only run of the ball game to this point. And Danny Mendick, who stepped in, and if you're just joining us, Tim Anderson going to his left on a ground ball in the infield, crumpled afterward, apparently with some sort of a groin injury. We haven't heard yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know.
So it is Danny Mendick, who's 5 for 23 this year. He's been on the team the bulk of the season, but just has not seen very much playing time. And this one gets away from Higgins. Harrison will take second base, and Danny was squaring a bunt there.
That's the second time for Stroman having a breaking ball just spin out of his hands. The first one was to Harrison, almost hit him in the head. This one, a wild pitch over Higgins's head. So now it sets the stage.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine that you would have the same idea about bunting with a runner at second and nobody out than runner at first.
Well, with the infield where it is, that left side entirely exposed.
Yeah, it's a different situation with a runner at second than a runner at first, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but to me, if you are going to bunt, as opposed to standing in that stance for a while and then putting down the bunt, this is a bunt squarely to get Harrison to third base. You might as well square around, because those guys at the corners are not going to move back because you affect the stance of swinging away.
Spin throw. Harrison is out. There are risks associated with the bunt, and that is one of them.
Well, we told you that Stroman is a terrific athlete. He jumps on this one and knows he's got some time. Now Higgins was yelling first base. Stroman felt he had a shot at him. He opens the door up for a big inning, but he gets the out at third.
Stroman very happy. I would understand it with the runner at first and a guy that you don't use very much coming up, but with a runner at second, the odds are different. Anyway, Vaughn with Mendick at first now. Ball one.
Andrew hit it very hard last time. Unfortunately, Stroman put his glove out and caught a hard one hopper right back to him.
Good slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Off the mound to second base. Simmons falls, tries to hit the bag, and the out is made there for the second out of the inning as Simmons had to reach out and stab the bag.
Well, the key here is that Simmons, who's a veteran and a Gold Glove at that, never lost his concentration. It's a very close play at second, but he drops it here. Then he picks it up in the glove and barely tags the bag ahead of the sliding Mendez. Turns out to be a terrific play, and it shows you normally veterans don't panic at all. And I mean, he gets him by an eyelash at second.
Two down for Berger here in the 6th.
Jake is looking for that one hanging slider. He hasn't been able to find one yet.
Fastball away for ball one.
Because really, even if you're a young hitter like Jake is, there's only one thing you're looking for here. Something middle in and something to jump on. Preferably a hanging breaking ball.
A spinning slider. Not that cutter. That's a good one. 1-1.
Kept that in a good spot.
One. Check swing. He didn't go. 2-1.
Brian Knight on the call.
Brian Knight's had a full day of appeals.
The appellate process goes the Sox way.
Outside, 3 balls and a strike on Berger.
Well, you wouldn't think that Stroman would want to get to Abreu. So this is why Jake has to try to air it out here.
On a cutter, fly ball to left center. Morel retires the side. On this Memorial Day weekend, USAA honors our fallen heroes.
Good for you and your community. Check out Marquette Bank at emarquettebank.com. Marquette Bank, love where you bank. Dylan Cease has been dominant. 5 strikeouts, 3 with the slider, 2 with the fastball. They've both been very good. You see the one is up and out of the strike zone, normally a pretty good place to put it. The other one at 99 was right down the middle.
Frank Schwindel takes a strike to start the 7th. Strained right groin is the diagnosis for Tim Anderson. He will undergo further evaluation tomorrow. Here's a play if you're just joining us.
Yeah, this is a tough play. His feet got tangled. He was moving to his left and he felt it right away. That was the cause of a most unique throw. He did get the out but had to leave the game. Out of all the injuries that this ball club has absorbed, that could be the costliest.
On a day when Lance Lynn is making his rehab debut for Charlotte in Durham. Also, Eloy Jimenez came out over the weekend in his rehab stint. 7th inning brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. Three and 1 to Schwindel. Foul.
Well, these are the two guys that can hit the ball in the ballpark fairly consistently. Schwindel got off to a very slow start this year, and Wisdom, who is swinging it really well. Although the batting average is down, he's one of those guys that he's going to hit it out, and he's going to do a lot of that. He's hit 10 of them this year.
Josh Harrison started bat, now comes in. And the ball finds him for out number 1.
Recapping this week's Crosstown Series and anything else you may have missed this week in Chicago sports. Join Layla Rahimi and Mike Berman for Sports Sunday tonight after NBC 5 at 10.
They're talking to each other during the promo. Layla and Mike.
There you go.
They're moving in the promo. We have moving promos.
I like that.
Here's Wisdom with his 2 walks, the only 2 walks for Dylan Cease today. And a strike on a curveball. The rare curve today.
He hasn't thrown that many, but it's a really good time to throw it on the first pitch because it doesn't have to be a great curveball. Kendall Graveman, as Dylan has passed over the 90 mark, 91 pitches for him. And he's ready to start throwing in the pen, but no urgency to this point.
Just in, 2 balls and a strike on Wisdom. We saw Souza, Foster, and Ruiz yesterday. Now the Cubs, it's an interesting day for them bullpen wise because they do have a doubleheader tomorrow with Milwaukee. So length from Stroman is important to them.
And so far, of course, he's gotten the job done. So has Dylan Cease.
Stroman's only thrown 72 pitches through 6. And he has been very good third time through the order this year. Stroman has. Berger charging from third. His throw is on the money. And there are 2 gone. Secure your spot at home with the White Sox ticket package. The best way to get priority access to Guaranteed Rate Field this season. Scan that QR code on the screen to learn more.
There's an example by an infielder. You have to know the speed of the base runner. In this case, Wisdom doesn't have any speed, so you can do it a little more casually. Take your time, make sure you get off a good throw. If you got a burner going down to first base, you're going to have to hurry that play. Jake didn't have to hurry and made a good throw.
So with that, 2 down for Ortega, who swings at the first pitch and fouls it away.
He grounded into that beautiful 3-6 double play. They did that exceptionally well because they really left Wisdom nothing to do. He was running towards second. Tim Anderson got the throw from Abreu, and then the tag was easy.
High and tight with a fastball, 1-1 to Ortega. The Sox will have Abreu, Grandal, and Sheets coming up in the 7th. By the way, Minnesota's up 5-0 on Zach Greinke in Kansas City in the 6th today.
That's why this one's essential.
Big breaking curveball, 1-2.
Looks like Dylan has discovered something about the release point of that curveball this inning. He's thrown some very good ones. As you can see, it's a straight 12-6. I mean, it's almost straight down.
Stoic right-hander Dylan Cease with the wind howling around him. 1-2. High heat. That's in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Ortega. Ortega, who made his major league debut in 2012. 6 years in the majors total, stints in and out. There's a breaking ball in the air, left field side. Andrew Vaughn in a hurry toward the line, and he will not get there.
Well, the wind took that one. That one probably was destined for fair territory, but it got up in the wind, which was blowing across toward the left field corner, and just batted the ball down. He's at the century mark, so this most likely will be his last inning. And you'd love to get him through this one. You just don't want to face Horner this inning if you possibly can. He's really hit the ball hard twice.
That is ball 4. Third walk for the Cubs today. And it will be Nico Horner.
Well, look, this is normally, whether a catcher or Ethan Katz goes out, what they're probably talking about is, look, this is going to be your last inning. This most likely will be your last hitter. So whatever you have in the tank, let me see it here, and then we're going to go to the bullpen. Ethan Katz wanting to find out if Braveman is okay. I would think Dillon would be given one more hitter, but they're checking. Kurt Hassler on the other end of the phone.
Jim Deshaies lookalike, Kurt Hassler.
I think what he probably told him is, look, he's got this guy, but if he doesn't get this guy, we're going to get him.
There goes Ortega. Good pitch to run on, and he is safe.
Kind of interesting what Danny Mendick did, and this was kind of a little point, but when he didn't make the catch, he kept the glove on Ortega, thinking that maybe he had the ball. Ortega might not have known the ball got away. Watch Mendick. He comes back and he goes to tag him again, and by that point Harrison was able to secure the baseball.
And they're going to intentionally walk Horner to bring up Higgins. Interesting, at 1 strike.
Well, I think you take a look at what Horner has done, and he's hit the ball very hard twice. Once a line out, the other a very hard ground out to Harrison. So rather than give him the third time, they're going to deal with a guy who has got a strikeout and a soft ground out to second.
So my question would be, if you're going to do it, why not do it before the stolen base? Here's Higgins.
Well,
I know you don't want to put the runner at second, but
that's the reason why you didn't do it then. And if they steal, well, then you have that available to you.
Yeah, that's always been conventional wisdom, and I get where that comes from completely. But you could make the argument that if you really didn't want to face him, it shouldn't necessarily matter if the runner was at second or first. That's all.
I just don't want to put a guy in scoring position.
2-0.
Well, now for the first time, Dillon really is laboring. He's going to have to get himself zeroed in on the strike zone.
Graveman's ready.
Yep.
There's a strike at 98, 2-1. You wanted them to get zeroed in. That was it.
That was it. So what happens for pitchers as they start to get tired? The velocity is the same because you're using a little more effort, and because you're exerting yourself, the ball has a tendency to flatten out.
Toward third, Berger can't field it, and the Cubs are going to score the first run of the ball game. Tough hop for Jake, and it's 1-0.
He tried to backhand that one, and I thought in a situation like this, you've got to get your body over and get in front of it. I think he had time to get in front of that ball, and at the very least, you knock it down. By trying to backhand it, extending the arm, if you don't get it in the glove, it's going into the outfield, scoring the run.
Tony La Russa in the dugout. Looking back at the phone.
Scored E5.
You surprised Cease is still out there?
He's not.
I was, well,
maybe he is. Yeah. He's gotten Simmons twice on a couple of soft fly balls. So that is scored E5.
Hey, spend your summer at the ballpark with Miller Lite Bleachers and Brews. Get 1 ticket and 2 beers starting at $27. You got to be 21 and over with a valid ID. Scan the QR code on the screen to purchase. Two on, 2 out for Simmons against Cease. Curveball called a ball. Reese McGuire just shook his head. That looked like it had the zone. Berger got him. Cubs get a run on a couple of walks and an error.
15.1. Come out to Garfield Park for this one-of-a-kind race through Chicago's west side. Be part of the inaugural race on June 5th. Visit Chicago13.1.com to sign up today.
For the first time today, there's a run on the board. And the Cubs lead 1-0. It's Abreu, Grandal, and Sheets to face Marcus Stroman, whose first pitch banks in for a strike. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 2 hits, and everything else an out in the field for the Sox offense today. But 1 swing could tie the game. To shortstop, Nico Horner plants and fires and didn't get the out. Schwindel couldn't reel it in, and the Sox have the leadoff man on.
Well, there's the one play that will expose an arm that's not overwhelming, and that was a concern for Nico Horner. He backhands it, then he plants the back foot. Now he's got some time to step into the throw, but he leaves it short. That is the tying run aboard. Horner does a nice job of staying with this overspin 1 hopper, but Schwindel can't pick it on the other end. Goes E6. Jose hustling down the line, and it pays dividends.
Here is Grandal, who's lined out to third and flied out to left. A little bit high for ball 1. Cubs bullpen starting to work, or at least mill around and do some high leg kicks.
Thought that was a marching band.
A little like the chorus line. 1-1. Just 76 pitches for Stroman so far. One. Grandal into center. That's a base hit. And Jose will hold up at second base. The throw behind him is not in time. The Sox have 2 on with nobody out here in the 7th.
Yasmani takes this ball into center field, and Morel gets to it aggressively. Now he's a former infielder, so he's used to playing 2 hoppers. And the throw behind Jose, alertly, he doesn't really wander off second base very far. That was a good heads-up play by Morel in center field.
Now Gavin Sheets. 2 on, nobody out.
Cubs believe he's going to bunt.
He doesn't. Gavin swings away and slices this ball to Morel in center field. He's underneath. Jose's on his way to third, and the Sox have the tying run 90 feet away.
Well, there was a little bad luck on that one because Gavin Sheets hit the daylights out of it, and unfortunately he hit it right at Morel. I mean, this could easily have been the hardest hit ball by the Sox today, and it moved up Abreu 90 feet, where the tying run is now 90 feet away with Adam Engel up. And they're discussing the possibility of a bunt.
A lot of choices to get that tying run home here.
Adams hit a couple of ground balls. One he beat out the double play in the 5th inning.
First and third, one out. Adam takes ball one.
Well, Adam usually doesn't go to right field, but there is a ton of room on the right side with Schwindel holding close on Grandal and Simmons playing pretty much up the middle.
Strike one on the slider from Stroman. He's not thrown a whole lot of pitches under duress today.
No, this is one of the few times that the Sox have had a pretty good shot at him. Tim Anderson led off the 1st inning with a base hit, stole second, was standing at second with nobody out, and no advancement by him.
2 balls and a strike. $38,000 plus. Watching as the Sox build a rally in the 7th. 2-1. That misses. 3 balls and a strike. Tying run at third, lead run at first. 3-1. Adam pops it up, back of home. Higgins toward the net, and he runs out of room. Now a message from WebEx by Cisco.
Hello, everyone.
Whether it's from boardrooms, crowded rooms,
Claro que sí.
and soon from rooms you aren't even in, T-Mobile uses WebEx to hybrid work.
Hey, hon.
Because we make it work for everyone.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Sox center fielder Adam Engel. Runners at first and third, 1 out in the 7th. Stroman's payoff. Fouled away.
Nice job of staying alive, because that pitch just off the corner has been called by Ted Barrett today. He's been consistent. He's kept that pitch a strike all day, whether it's just a touch or maybe up to a ½ inch off the outside corner. They've been strikes. And Adam alertly swung at that pitch, so he didn't leave it in Barrett's hands.
Three-two. He takes ball 4 below the zone. The bases are loaded for the Sox here in the 7th. Reese McGuire will bat.
You see that slider? This one is down and out of the zone. Good job of seeing that one all the way. You didn't see his feet or his hands move, and Tommy Hotovy coming out to have a talk with Stroman. So ordinarily, you certainly wouldn't think of a bunt in this situation. A couple of things to bear in mind here. One, Reese McGuire is a very good bunter. Two, Stroman is an exceptional athlete on the mound, and we've already seen him make a couple of very good plays today. That will factor into the decision by Tony La Russa.
Couple of ground outs, one back to Stroman and one to Andrelton Simmons for McGuire so far. Biggest at bat of the game to this point. Wisdom in at third. McGuire swings through a slider.
You back up the slider with a cutter. They both look almost the same. The difference is 7 miles an hour, and you can't really adjust to that one.
Stroman's ready on 0-2. Struck him out. 2 down.
We'll go pitch by pitch. That one tests the bottom of the zone, that one out of the zone, and that one completely out of the zone.
Josh Harrison with the bases loaded and 2 down. Righty against Stroman. First pitch, a slider for a strike. Stroman's spinning the hits right now. Slider after cutter after slider.
Yeah, he's not throwing that sinking fastball. He's gone to the breaking pitch, some variation of it.
Line to second, and that will do it. The Sox leave him loaded in the 7th. 1-0 to the 8th.
For 3, followed up at Tampa Bay for 3 on what should be a pretty tough road trip. Then the off day coming home, and we take a look at the Dodgers. It doesn't get any easier. The Dodgers for 3, and then Texas comes on. So a busy time as far as the Sox are concerned. And Kendall Graveman coming in the ball game for the 21st time. His ERA a touch under 3. He's got to hold him right there and hope the offense somehow can push across a couple of runs.
He will face the top of the order. Both teams have the top of the order coming here in the 8th. Mostly sinker for Kendall Graveman. Eighth inning brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. That sinker to right-hander just bears in on these guys.
Kendall's got pretty good stuff.
He rips a sinker at 98, 0-2. So Morel has reached base in every game as a Cub so far. He is 0 for 3 today. And he swings through a slider, one gone quickly.
Set up very well for that last pitch, and the last pitch is one of those unhittable sliders. It's a spot where nobody's going to hit it. You just have to lay off, and if you can't, you're walking back to the dugout.
As he is.
As he is.
So now Contreras will single to right in the third. He's popped out and he's struck out. Wave and a miss. Danny Mendick at shortstop. Has out number 2.
That was a really nice convenient hop on the last one. Danny was expecting maybe it would flatten out, but it hopped right up to him. Contreras, being a catcher, doesn't have the great speed, and he threw him out rather easily. The ball's hit fairly hard. Taking that last hop from the grass to the glove. No dirt involved.
That sounds like the Steve Stone story. I thought you were writing your autobiography for a moment. 2 down for a Happ.
Well, I don't remember the 70s, so you never know.
Oh, I was just talking about how when you walked into the stadium.
Oh, that. Yes.
The smell of the turf.
Actually, it was fresh cut grass in my first spring training that I remember perfectly.
That's what I was saying.
At Casa Grande, Arizona.
You remember it distinctly?
I do. I used to replicate it because I thought that was the best I ever threw that spring training. And I wanted to capture that energy and that feeling that I had, and part of it was the smell of that fresh cut grass in the morning, along with an analgesic that I used to put on my arm called Capsulin. And I remembered that smell, and it would bring me back to that period.
Medicated sod, the Steve Stone story.
Yeah.
Look, today is a perfect reminder at 80 degrees at game time of why we love baseball. And I know it's been a tough day for the offense again, as Michael Givens might throw for the 2nd straight day. A great crowd, well pitched ball game to this point. It's inside 2-2. Feels like a lifetime ago that there were no people in the stands, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, when Hawk and I did that game in Baltimore.
Yeah. You got time as this ball comes down.
They didn't allow any fans. I thought it would be the last time we ever did that. Fool that I was.
Hope 2020 is the last time we ever did it.
Yep.
Ian Happ wasn't really happy with that fly ball. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Customizable food and beverage options this season. Scan that QR code on the screen or call 312-674-1000 for more information.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game. It's a side wheeler, Michael Givens. In 18 games this year, his ERA just over 3. We initially encountered him in Baltimore. He's always had a pretty good arm. He's got a couple of holds, and that's what he uses. The 4-seam fastball is almost half the time, backed up by the slider and then the changeup. And his changeup is a pretty good one because that fastball has always been good. The velocity isn't quite what it was. It's at 93 average. But the slider's a hard one at around 84.
He'll face Mendick, Vaughn, and Berger here in the 8th. Danny Mendick 0 for 1. Coming in for Tim Anderson, who's out with a right groin strain after a throw earlier about halfway through the ball game. Strike 1 on a fastball from Givens out of Plant High School in Tampa. Best known for Wade Boggs coming through there, but more recently Pete Alonso is an alumnus of Plant High. John Hudak as well.
I remember him.
Plant High. Astro among others, right?
Yeah, he made the rounds, I think.
2 balls and a strike on Mendick.
Outfield straightaway, not overly deep.
way outside. That crossfire sometimes happens.
Yeah. He had that problem in Baltimore on occasion where he would just seemingly lose the strike zone and then he had a hard time getting it back.
Three and one. Line drive to left, Danny Mendick. All right, let's see if Chuck and Ozzie can spark a rally here. A preview of Subaru White Sox post-game live. Do your thing, guys. Ozzie, thank you very much. See if we can get a couple white tigers for Chuck and Ozzie at some point this year. Ball one to Vaughn. Tying run at first, lead run at the plate. And a throw on Danny.
You got to be careful to do what Givens is doing, because if you throw across your body without stepping, that's going to be a balk.
Well, there was a balk in that Oregon State UCLA game yesterday that tied the game at 22.
Well, I would say pitchers were an endangered species at that point.
No, Andrew knows all about Pac-12 baseball, but it wasn't exactly like that when he played there at Cal.
That pitch was off the outside corner a bit.
Another throw to first, and Danny's back. Highly thought of throw by the Sox fans from Givens.
They really appreciate that.
Oh, and they're going to love this one. Danny's looking like, but why though? Inside with a slider, 1-2. He came home very quickly that time. Struck him out with a slider. Just the third strikeout for White Sox hitters today, and one down in the eighth.
Pretty good slider there. He set him up with something inside and then went to the slider outside and got a big strikeout. Stroman was awfully good through 7. He gave up 3 singles, couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, and no runs.
Jake tags it to center field. Morel back on it, still going. He's at the track and he makes a jumping catch. What an effort by Morel on a ball that kept soaring to center field. Wow.
Maybe on another day that has a chance to get out, but the wind is blowing in. It's knocked down just about everything today, and it knocked down that one. Doesn't diminish the effort by Morel. He does a nice job coasting back with this one. And just before he hits the wall, he catches it. Now, for those who might say, why didn't Danny Mendick tag up? The reason is that if that gets over his head, he's got to score. He's the tying run, so he's halfway. He's not thinking about tagging up. He's thinking about that one getting over Morel's head.
And now Jose's thinking about trying to give the Sox the lead. First pitch, a strike on that slider.
That slider inside is a dangerous pitch, because if you open up just a little, you're going to be able to get the good part of the bat on it if you're a right-hand hitter. This one is going to be away, and it's going to be a fastball.
Called a strike. 0-2.
Bullpen up and going. It's going to be Velasquez if the Sox don't score, and most likely Liam if they do.
In the dirt. Higgins got in front of it. 1-2.
Higgins has had a nice day moving from post to post to make some good stops. Good catches, good stops, and no advancement. That slider low and away, he's able to get it in the glove, which is something that a lot of guys can't do. But he makes sure the tying run does not go into scoring position.
One and two. Way outside.
Well, what you'd love to see is a count go to 3-2. That would allow Danny Mendick a running jump, and on any double he scores.
Check swing on a changeup low. 3-2, and there is your full count.
Well, there's that changeup also, and it's a real good one. And Jose did see it because he didn't move his hands. That was a really good take. That wipes out a lot of hitters, especially when you're seeing it for the first time.
Jose thinking through Givens' process here, trying to figure out what he's going to get on 3-2.
I would think whatever it was, it would be away.
Danny runs. 3-2, fouled off his body.
Another changeup. It's really pretty dangerous when the guy has seen the last changeup very well. This one, he was able to get the top of and continue the at bat.
Little ground ball back to Givens, down to his knees. He flips it, and that does it for the 8th inning. A solitary run on the board to the 9th.
Liam Hendricks comes into the ballgame on for the 21st time. Saves 14 of 17. The ERA a touch below 3.5. And he needs an inning of work. He last through on Wednesday. You have to get him out there, and to keep him sharp, he wants to get through this inning and turn it back over to the offense. That's what he'll go with: the four-seamer, the slider, and the occasional curveball.
He'll face Schwindel, Wisdom, and Ortega in the 9th. Grandal, Sheets, and Engel coming up in the home 9th. And Liam wants to talk to Reese. Last 5 been pretty good, Steve.
I would say he's found the magic. 8 strikeouts, 2 walks, and I think they might go to signals instead of the electronic sign aspect of it. No, it's still the electronic.
In the air, left field. Vaughn is back at the track, and this ball's off the wall. It's a leadoff double for Schwindel here in the 9th.
Well, he'd been held really well to that point. 0 for 3 without getting the ball out of the infield. And there is the slider. It's in a good spot, but he just reaches out and takes it off the wall. Shows you how strong he is.
They're going to pinch run for Schwindel with Clint Frazier. So now Wisdom inside for ball one. Good slider there, 1-1 for Wisdom. Minnesota today's up 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning over Kansas City. Gio Urshela has homered in the ball game. Nick Gordon as well. Wide of third. Royce Lewis left the game for Minnesota after one at bat. One of their hot prospects.
Yeah, that's one of the guys they were trying to find a spot for and didn't know exactly what they were going to do as everybody got healthy.
Tim Anderson left this game for the Sox in the 5th, throwing out P.J. Higgins from shortstop. A right groin strain for Tim. He'll be reevaluated or evaluated further tomorrow. This is high, 2-2.
Well, a strikeout here and stop any advancement would be really well received.
2-2. In the dirt, knocked down, but not far enough. Frazier was peeling away anyway. And it's a runner at third for the Cubs.
That's been one of the problems for Liam when he misses with the breaking ball. He literally spikes it in the ground. This is a tough pitch to handle. McGuire does everything he can, sliding over, getting the chest protector in the way, but brings an insurance run 90 feet away and forces the infield in.
Yeah, he got to at this point in a 1-0 game. 3-2. Struck him out. 98 for the strikeout for Hendricks. One gone.
This is a big strikeout. He throws it right down the middle, right by him.
There's one. Now Ortega, who scored the lone run. He walked, stole a base, and came home on the error on Berger in the 7th. Just up, ball one. Little tapper foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting one to squib off the end of the bat because Ortega didn't know where it was. And he was falling off the swing anyway.
One. Foul, 1-2.
That time Liam beat him with a fastball. Upstairs, a good spot to Ortega.
Frazier at third, the pinch runner for Schwindel.
One more strikeout here would come in really handy.
That would allow the infield to move back.
Yep.
1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes, a little bit high. 2-2. A slider low, 3 balls, 2 strikes. I think Tony wants the infield charging on the pitch, and they do, and it's fouled away.
Well, sometimes that movement is distracting for the hitter. Liam just leaned back and said, here's my best fastball, see what you can do with it, and he doesn't do much with it. But he is able to stay alive.
As was our camera.
It'll live to fight another day. Both will.
Three-two. Called strike 3. Ortega knew it. That was right there.
Yeah, he started to walk away like perhaps it would be called a ball. But, I mean, this is literally right down the middle. It carves out the middle of the plate. And Liam, again, rears back and says, here it is. See what you can do. So now you can bring the infield back, except for Berger at third.
Nico Horner, the batter. There is Berger at third. The throw got him. Runner at third, nobody out. Gets stranded. We'll see if the Sox take advantage next.
Yes!
Endings are imposed and inflicted. Finishes are earned and celebrated.
Save! Save! Sox win! Everybody go home! Anderson hits it in the air to right. Back at the wall, and the White Sox win!
It's the last word. The closing act. The final step. The whole point. We don't remember the start. We never forget the finish.
Here we are in the bottom of the ninth, 1-0, and an old friend trying to close it out.
David Robertson has resurrected his career in the bullpen for the Cubs. He's on for the 16th time. He's 6 of 7 in saves. 1-0 this year, the ERA a fine 1.65. Now he's fanned 22 in those 16 and a third, walked 9. The walks are high. The strikeouts are way up there also, and he's going to use that cutter most of the time, 55%. Followed by the slider, which essentially is the same thing. So you're not going to see many straight fastballs. Alfonso Rivas takes over at first base.
First pitch fouled away by Grandal. The only blown save for Robertson was 8 days ago. He came in for Scott Efros in the top of the 8th inning and gave up back-to-back hits to Jake McCarthy and Dalton Varsho of the Diamondbacks. He's got strike 2 to Grandal. Little piece of it foul right at the plate.
Well, Sox have had their opportunities today. They have not been able to cash in on any of them.
Biggest chance was the bases loaded 1 out spot in the 7th.
And they've had the leadoff man on 3 times, 1st, 7th, and 8th.
One and 2 on Grandal. Sheets an angle to follow. 1-run ball game. Strike 3 on a cutter right down the pike.
Nothing fancy. You pretty much know what Robertson is going to do, and that's throw cutters down the middle. You see the grip, it's slightly off center. He gets spin, but it really doesn't do much. It just kind of sits right there, and Grandal swung through it.
Gavin Sheets hit a searing line drive to center field last time. He singled in the 5th to right. That's strike one. That is a fair ball, and it could be 2 bases. Gavin Sheets is on his way. Happ's throw to second is late. It's a double for Gavin Sheets, and the tying runs at second in the 9th for the Sox.
That's 2 hits for Gavin today, and he represents the tying run. And it wouldn't be the tying run without just a great performance by Liam Hendriks to get out of that 9th inning. So it took a while for the warranty to kick in, but now it is.
That Sox double brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty aforementioned. Only available at Elgin Hyundai. See ElginHyundai.com. A.J. Pollock will pinch run for Gavin Sheets. He just got there ahead of the throw. There's a tying run wearing number 18. There's a winning run wearing number 15. Down low, a cutter, ball 1.
Adams been hitting him hard lately. You don't need a hard hit ball, you just need one to find a hole.
2-0. Pollock at second. 2-0. Little half swing grounder, could be trouble. Robertson flags it down and throws it wildly. Safe the call at first base. And I'll tell you what, Rivas just saved a run with a reaching grab. Runners at the corners nonetheless.
That's the responsibility of the first baseman. You realize you can't stay on the bag. You have to go get the ball wherever it is. An ill-advised throw by Robertson almost cost him the tie, but for the heroics of Rivas. We'll watch it again. It's an excuse me swing, and Adams got such great speed. Robertson knows that. He tries to make a spectacular play and almost turns it into a tie game runner in scoring position. Great effort by Rivas.
And now Yoan Moncada's grabbed a bat, and he will hit for McGuire in the 8th spot.
So Tommy Hottovy comes out. Now they're discussing a couple of different things. One, they know the speed of Engel. So they're talking about what they're going to do if Engel does take off for second base. You have pretty good speed at third. You have great speed at first. That's one of the things they're talking about. I don't believe, unless they address it, I don't believe Moncada is going to bunt, so I'm not sure that they need even to address that. But there is Yoan coming out with the winning run at first base.
Yoan hasn't played since Wednesday against Boston. Yoan 8 for 59 since coming off the injured list. Pollock at third, Engel at first. You think Adam runs here?
I do, but not necessarily on the first pitch. And then judging by the throw, Pollock will make a determination whether he takes off or not.
He holds this time. That's strike one. The ball gets away. The Sox have tied the game through the wickets of Higgins. 1-1. AJ didn't see it at first, then finally got a glimpse of this thing.
Well, it wound in the dirt, but Higgins has been blocking everything today, and he failed to block that one. So it's a wild pitch, but it went through the 5-hole. And just like that, it's a brand new game with the winning run at second base. And how about that for a way to tie the ball game?
How about winning it on the next pitch?
That would be delightful.
One ball, one strike.
This at bat could go a long way to getting Yuan's confidence back.
On the ground, first base and foul, 1-2.
Tebow, not a good play.
Unless he was just mimicking what he wants the Cubs to do on a ball in play. Plant the seed. Gavin Sheets started this with a double down the left field line. 1-2. Yuan up the middle. This gets Engel to third. 2 down. Josh Harrison. The 9-hitter, who the other day before a game against Boston jokingly said, the way I see it as the 9-hitter, everybody bats after me. Which is true if you flip it in your mind a certain way.
Well, if he gets a base hit here, everybody goes home after him.
And that is the ideal result. First pitch to him. He takes outside, ball 1.
Base hit, air, wild pitch, pass ball.
Take your pick, spin the drum, anything that comes out. How about a ground ball to shortstop that goes haywire? Nope. Man can dream. To the 10th we go. Even at 1.
Caught up.
Yeah, you do. We'll start with the starting pitchers. Dylan Cease and Marcus Stroman, who dueled to even today, basically.
Dylan Cease was awfully good. Just 1 error on the 1 run, but 2 hits in 7 innings and no earned runs. Marcus Stroman equal to the task. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Couple of walks, couple of strikeouts. Great pitchers duel for a long time. And Tim Anderson comes up lame here, which is a terrible sight. They're going to further evaluate tomorrow and know just how costly this one is going to be.
Here's that error you were talking about. Ground ball to third. Berger didn't get around it.
Yeah, you know, you don't figure he naturally has to catch it, but if he gets in front to block it, then you don't score the run. And that one gets away to tie up the ball game. And after the game that Higgins has had behind the plate, where he's literally stopped everything, some spectacular saves, who figures that would happen? Ronaldo Lopez comes into the ball game. On for the 17th time.
He's hiding from us.
His ERA at 3.20. I believe we're going to start out with Horner at second base.
That is true. He made the final out in the 9th for the Cubs, who have VR and Suzuki on the bench, but Seiya Suzuki dealing with a jammed finger from the other day. AJ Pollock goes to left. Andrew Vaughn goes to right. Yasmani Grandal is now the catcher. And so the White Sox have lost the DH. So the pitcher's spot will be 9th up. Essentially, it's a double switch. 8th up, I should say, in the McGuire's spot. Here's Higgins. He lays down a bunt back to the mound. Lopez has no play at third. He spins to first and throws it all over the place. 2-1 Cubs.
There's got to be some communication on a bunt play there between the third baseman and the pitcher. When Lopez looked to third, Berger was coming in to make the catch. And Lopez had this ball easily. Right here, Jake has to go back to the bag because nobody's there, and then Ronaldo compounds this problem with a terrible throw to first base. So that scores a go-ahead run, and they basically start again the way this at-bat started, with a man at second, only this time the Cubs have the lead.
You think they had a play at third if Berger was there?
I don't know, but they have to communicate. And as soon as Jake saw that Ronaldo was going to get the ball, he has to go back to the bag.
Higgins at second, Simmons the batter. There's a bunt third base side and foul for a strike.
For the Sox in their half, Harrison winds up at second base and they move to the top. Mendick, Vaughn, Berger.
One and one to Simmons. He takes.
If you are going to bunt here, you don't want to push it to the right side.
Two one. Back to the mound, Lopez. That was the same technique though there, Steve, in terms of third base pitcher communication, right?
Well, this time there probably wasn't going to be a play at third base, but Jake kind of ambled back to the bag. And that's something you do have to communicate about. Watch Jake. I mean, he wasn't back at third at all to make that play. If there was a play, there would be no play then. Once again, he went after the ball.
So the infield in 1-4 on the sacrifice with Harrison covering, and a huge batter here with Morel. Ball one. Looped over first down the right field line and just foul. Wow, that was close.
Jose seems to have taken a bad step. He's limping a bit as he goes back to his position. Fortunately, this one goes foul because even if they catch it, I think it's going to be a run.
Ball and a strike on Morel. Infield still in. He snapped a slider that got the zone. 1-2.
I'm sure on that little pop up to the right side, Willie Harris yelled to get back and tag up, because at first that wasn't the case with Simmons.
1-2. Through the left side. 3-1 Cubs. Morel on base again in his last at bat to this point.
It's a slider that stays inside, and normally this is not a good plan. He certainly doesn't mean to throw it there, and through a drawn-in infield, no chance for anybody. Young man's a bit excited, and justifiably so.
Came through in a big spot. Now Contreras. Got to throw to first on Morel.
You got to think Morel would be going in this situation.
So does Lopez.
Well, he got back pretty easily that time. He seemed to read the move, and that means you can get an extra step on your lead.
He's agreeing with you. Pretty hefty cut there by Contreras.
Ground ball would look nice and get out of the inning.
Long hold. And it's inside. Morel watching over at first, but didn't run.
That one almost got the left elbow.
One and one. Fouled away to our right. 1-2. So the Sox in the bottom of the 10th will have the tying run at the plate with Mendick, Vaughn, and Berger if the score holds as it is right now. It'll be Scott Efros that they face.
He's been tough on the Sox because he's a side-wheeling right-hander.
Struck out 3 in the 6th yesterday.
Yeah, looked really good doing it.
Strike 3 on a slider.
One out to go, and turn it over to the offense.
Ian Happ. 2 ground outs, a strikeout, and a fly out to left. Would have thought if he was going to go, he would have gone during the last at bat.
Yeah. If he does go, you say on the double play, as it turned out, Contreras didn't make contact anyway.
Called a strike outside corner for Happ. Very close, 1-1. Minnesota's up 7-3 on Kansas City in the 8th. Cleveland lost to Detroit. And the Sox again embark on a road trip. It's going to be tough at Toronto, at Tampa Bay, starting on Tuesday night. The one thing Cubs and Sox fans agree upon: throws to first are not their cup of tea.
Nope. They'd be very happy if there ever does come a time when they limit the throws to first base. Of course, that's open season on stolen bases.
Could be coming.
Or use them judiciously.
There goes Morel, and he's got that easily stolen.
That one was sitting there waiting for him, and finally he took advantage of it.
Big leg kick.
Yep.
Two one. Strike called. 2-2. Two coming. Breaking ball struck him out. Cubs get two though. 3-1.
Very good. The ERA a touch over 3, as you can see. Great command. 26 strikeouts, only 4 walks in 20 2/3. So he's not going to help you too often. He throws that slider a lot, followed up by a sinker and the changeup, which is very good, but he doesn't use it all that often, 14.2% of the time. He's not overwhelming with his velocity, but everything moves and makes him tough to square up.
So the Sox against Efros will have Harrison at second base, Danny Mendick batting, then Vaughn and Berger coming up. 3-1 score. Tying run will be at the plate to start the inning. Danny Mendick in for the injured Tim Anderson. Danny's got 8 career home runs. Fouled away for a strike.
Hit the ball very hard leading off the 8th inning. More of the same would be welcome here. Or as they say, a bloop and a blast would get it done.
He had been swinging it very well at AAA Charlotte. On the ground, up the middle, that trickles through. Harrison had to go back. Runners at first and third on a second hit for Danny Mendick, and the Sox have something going.
Yeah, that's a good piece of base running by Josh Harrison, because his run basically is meaningless. The man you have to score is Mendick. And so if this ball is kept in the infield and he's thrown out, that would be a very bad play. He made a good heads-up base running play, and now runners to the corners with nobody out.
The winning run at home plate, Andrew Vaughn, who struck out against Efros yesterday. Strike called on a slow slider, 0-1.
That was a pretty good pitch. That one shaved off the outside corner.
That one swerved over the plate, and Andrew knew it, and he popped it foul.
That was just sitting there like on a tee. It was a slider that stayed right over the middle of the plate, and Andrew could not square it up.
0-2. Outside and low, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Andrew Vaughn. Efros to Vaughn, 1-2. He got inside with a sinker that time.
Yeah, that usually is a setup pitch for that slider once again. And Andrew fouled this off himself, so he's going to walk around a bit.
One, two. Andrew in the air to center field. Morel is there to make the catch. Harrison tags. He comes home. It's 3-2 now with 1 out in the 10th. That is how big that second run for the Cubs was in the top of the 10th. Can Jake run into a third one this week?
Boy, he hit it awfully hard last time up in the 8th inning, sending Morel all the way back to the wall. He crashed into the wall after making the catch. But I mean, he hit that one on the screws. Probably the hardest hit ball by the Sox this afternoon.
That almost hit him.
Well, that's what Efros has to do to right-hand hitters. He has to throw the ball inside on occasion to set up that slider away. And we got away with a hanger to Vaughn. Might not be so lucky to Berger.
Foul ball, 1-1. Hope for that young White Sox fan. Runner at first, 1 out, winning run at the plate. Sinker for a strike, 1-2. Abreu next. Way outside on the slider, 2-2. Does he go back there, do you think?
I think he's going back there, although he's thrown inside a couple of times. He doesn't want to throw inside for a strike. He wants to throw inside an inch and a half inside, which usually ties up the right-hand hitter. But at 2-2, you certainly don't want to go 3-2.
Taken low, 3-2. There it is. Danny Mendick at first is the tying run. He and Jake Berger have been teammates in the majors and in AAA this year.
Well, a big hit here by Jake would send this crowd into delirium.
A good chunk of the crowd.
A good chunk. Well, the others would be in delirium also, but for a different reason.
A downward trajectory of delirium. 3-2. Check swing. He didn't go, and it's ball 4. 2 on, 1 out for Abreu. David Ross cannot believe it.
He's not very happy with Brian Knight. Watch it from the side. Well, you know what? You can make a case for him keeping the bat back. I know certainly I'd call it not a swing.
You and Brian Knight would agree. Jake might have been a little hazy on it at first, and now here's Abreu. The optimism is starting to soar for that young one.
Well, the game is on the bases.
Time called. Efros was ready quickly, and Jose was not.
We'll watch it again. Looks to me like he didn't drag the bat across the plate. I know his hands went across the plate.
Looked to me like Jake was going to drag himself back to the.
And of course, David Ross doesn't appreciate that call.
He did not. Abreu fouls it away. Ooh, man. Middle fastball.
Fastball right down the middle.
Two on, one out. One strike. Searing line drive, center field, base hit. Mendick to third. He gets waved around. Morel's throw is offline. The Sox have tied the game. Abreu comes through.
Jose's been waiting all day for that pitch, and he finally got it. Sox tied up at 3. Now, there's a little nuance here, and I'll tell you about it as Jose brings his hands in and drives the ball into center field. Danny Mendick at second base has got to know where the shortstop is, because if he does, he's not going to check it up. Because that ball was very close to him and no chance at all for Horner. He does score the tying run. Watch it again, and he stops. Then when he recognizes where Horner is, that's when he turned it on and fortunately scored. But the one thing a man at second has to do on each and every pitch is know where the infielders are, and that way you'll know when to take off and when to go back. And a meeting at the mound, once again with the game on the bases. Watch Danny Mendick. He looks back and then he sees exactly where Horner was. It cost him a step, but it didn't hurt the Sox.
Jose Abreu has just tied Minnie Minoso at 808 for runs driven in. Feels like approximately 420 of those have come against the Cubs.
Well, there's no doubt that he loves to hit off the Cubs. And here's another situation where Yasmani, who has a hit today, can help turn things around with a base hit here.
He has to sidestep that ball. Now again, the Cubs have the shortstop Horner essentially playing second base. Simmons, who's used to playing shortstop but is the second baseman, playing right on the bag at second. One to no to Grandal. A dart to right and foul.
Get out in front of that one. That was a soft breaking ball. He couldn't stay back long enough. And he hit it hard but foul.
Now look, the Sox had an off day, Cubs as well. The Cubs have a doubleheader tomorrow, so they can't exactly burn through their entire bullpen. If this game does go longer, you'd obviously like it to end here in the 10th.
That would be a delight. Just about everybody in the stadium up on their feet.
And they watch it change up, sink low, 2-1 to Grandal.
Normally, Efros is a left-hand hitter's dream because he's dropping down from the side. You can see it the whole way.
Two and two.
That time he was way late on that. Looked like he was expecting a breaking ball and didn't get it. That ball was almost in Higgins' glove when he swung.
Looked like he thought it might have been away too, and then he realized it was a strike. And now Efros has been more ready to pitch than the White Sox have wanted his tempo to be, so they've slowed him down in the inning. 2-2 to Grandal. He wands it foul.
Well, there was another emergency hack. I mean, that slider that he throws away from the left-hander starts over the right-hand batter's box and snaps over the corner. And Yaz could not leave it in the hands of Ted Barrett, who's been about an inch outside calling strikes on both sides of the plate today. As long as you're consistent, the players very rarely argue those calls.
We'll do 2-2 again. Grandal hits it in the air, right side. It is the right fielder Ortega to make the catch for the second out of the inning, and now the first at bat for A.J. Pollock comes in the 10th. He scored as a pinch runner in the 9th for Gavin Sheets, whose double eventually got the Sox the equalizer, down a run since the 7th. Each team now has 2 runs in the 10th.
Aaron Bummer loosening in the pen.
Popped up left center field. Happ and Morrell, and it's Happ making the catch. And we're going to play 11. It's the last game of the year between these two, and they don't want to part.
Sox have 8, and Aaron Bummer comes into the game for the 15th time. His ERA 4 1/4, just back off the injured list, and thrown right into the midst of the fire.
He's scheduled to face 2 left-handers with that sinker.
Rivas and Ortega sandwiched in between. Wisdom.
Well, this was, I mean, this was essentially like the Autobahn. This game was just drive straight, nobody scores, and then suddenly it's become a corn maze.
Great pitching because nobody was hitting.
Nice hat. I like that hat. If we go to 15, will somebody just bring us a pair of those hats? Can we bargain?
I think if we go to 15, you're better off being brought a pair of cheeseburgers as opposed to the hats, with all due respect to your sartorial splendor.
Of which there is a small amount. Bummer against Rivas. Happ at second. The 11th inning starts now with a strike from Aaron Bummer.
Now with the left-hander on the mound who falls off to the third base side, got to have some coordination between Bummer and Berger if the ball is either squibbed there or bunted there.
There goes Happ. Pitches inside. Throw to third is not in time. It's a stolen base for Ian Happ.
The scouting report on Aaron Bummer is he never looks back a second time. And Happ just took off. We'll watch it again. It's one look back, and you see where Happ is. He stole that easily, but you got to vary your looks.
It's also, I was just going to say, David Ross decides not to bunt here, even though he did in the 10th inning, and that could very well be the reason that they felt like they had third. So the infield in, 1-1, and a chopper foul, 1-2. Now you have a guy in Bummer who's such a ground ball pitcher. You speed up the infield with them playing in, so there are more options for a ground ball to get by you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big play in this situation because not only is it the go-ahead run, but forcing the infield in is a tremendous advantage, and you can score on a ground ball that's not at anybody or a short fly ball. Like that.
Center field, there it is. Engel makes the catch. Here comes Happ. Productive out for the Cubs. It's 4-3. Now it's really interesting as you look ahead to the Sox 11th. You have Engel first and Pollock at second base. But if you were thinking about bunting to try to guarantee yourself a win at 3-3 or a tie when you go down 4-3, you've got the pitcher's spot coming next. And so it's not as easy as get that guy over and get him in.
Nope.
Strike one from Bummer to Wisdom. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ripped to left center. Wisdom's first hit of the afternoon.
This little slider came over the middle of the plate, and Wisdom hit it awfully hard.
So now Rafael Ortega, who had a gap of 4 years between his first major league stint and his second. He was in AA and AAA and kicking around, and some injuries in there as well, and then a couple other gaps in his major league time, and now back up with the Cubs. Here's a chopper up the middle. Could be 2, should be 2, and is 2 from Mendick to Abreu. The Sox need 1 to tie, 2 to win.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game. Robert Gazelman on for the 7th time. His ERA 5.5. Only 8 strikeouts in 13 innings with 3 walks. As you can see, left-handers have really hurt him over the course of his career.
Well, this has been a long and winding road, and Beatles night was earlier this homestand. Let's get you caught up. We start with who knows what. It's a ground ball to third. P.J. Higgins ends up scoring Ortega, and a 1-0 lead for the Cubs at that point, which looked like it might stand up.
And held up for a long time until this. A wild pitch ties up the game, but the Sox could not add to that.
And the Cubs got 2 in the top of the 10th inning. The runner at second did come home on the RBI single for Morel, and the error as well, but the Sox tied it.
They came back to get 2 in their half at the bottom of the 10th inning. Tied up the ball game. And then a sacrifice fly after a stolen base, and the Cubs took the lead.
Adam Engel watches ball 1, a sinker from Gesellman, the former Mets starter and reliever.
Well, the Cubs believe that he's going to lay down a bunt. Rivas is at the cut of the grass at third. Wisdom, even with the bag, at third rather. Rivas at first.
He is not. He takes ball 2. Leury Garcia's grabbed a bat. He is on deck for the pitcher's spot. He is the only remaining bench player for the Sox. Two-0. Engel pumps it over second base and down. It's a base hit. AJ's around third. Throw to the plate is late and bouncing away. Adam Engel to second base. The Sox are in big business here in the 11th.
That's one of the few mistakes that Morel has made in this series, because that's the winning run going to go to second base if you throw through. The key is any runner is going to look at the angle of the throw, and if it can be cut off, then you have to think about going to second. This one quite obviously airmailed the cutoff man, and Engel with good speed winds up as the winning run at second base. We'll watch it again. He airmails Rivas, has no chance to get it, and a good piece of base running by Adam Engel to go with that base hit.
Leury Garcia had a walk-off home run last year. He now has a chance to walk off the Cubs in the 11th. Harrison next. Garcia may bunt. We'll see. There it is. Back to the mound. And Gesellman throws it into a collision. The ball bounces away, and the Sox win.
Wait
Let's
a second.
see now. Let's see if they're going to call him out.
They're going to call him out.
They're going to call him out and send back Adam Engel because of Garcia being in the line of the throw and out of the baseline.
I think that's exactly what is going to be called by Ted Barrett. He's going to say that he interfered with that throw. And the question then is, you call him out. Engel, I think, has to return to second base.
We'll see where they put him. Yeah, it's Adams asking the question here. Tony La Russa talking to Ted Barrett. We'll see it again and see whether or not Garcia actually did impede the throw by being out of the baseline.
It was such a good bunt that if you're on the right side of the line, you're going to get the winning run to third anyway.
Oh, wow.
It didn't look like he was that far inside the line, but it's going to be called, and Engel's going to go back to second base.
Now the question is,
you see clearly inside the line there. Now he did come back toward the bag. It's a great bunt. That part is not in dispute.
runner at second, one out, and a throw to second base. What do you think, Steve?
Well,
I mean, you see the step inside the line there.
That step is clearly inside the line, and with where the pitcher was, he might not have had an angle or an angle.
And now Tony La Russa is out, giving what for to Ted Barrett. Now you can have called for a rules check. Watch him down the line from our right field camera.
It is a great bunt. You would love to have seen him on the right side of the line.
Time called.
Selman has taken 2 or 3 looks back to second base. Simmons is charged with holding him close, but he's breaking back.
Wave and a miss for a strike. Swing and a miss again. 0-2.
This is way outside, but he committed himself on the slider.
One ball and 2 strikes. Angle at second. 1-2. Poke foul.
I think at 89-90 you can adjust to the ball inside. I think you got to look away against Gesellman. Try to punch it into right field. Ortega is very close in right. He's got a good arm.
2-2. Back to the play over at first base. It's not that wide of a lane that you're afforded. It's a 3-foot lane to the left or to the right. And with Garcia taking the step inside the line, that's where the out comes, and it's a judgment call for the umpires, so not reviewable. On the ground, back to the mound, little juggle and a throw to third, and Engel's caught up. Adam trying to hang around enough, but he cannot. He is out. Harrison now at first base with 2 down.
Sox have not played a real good game. That's some bad base running. You got to make sure that the ball goes through for sure, because you're in scoring position anyway.
Two down. Danny Mendick, the batter. Strike one. Danny's 2 for 3 since coming in for an injured Tim Anderson.
Let's go White Sox! Let's go White Sox! Oh yeah!
Ball to strike. 0-2 from Gesellman. Well, we showed you how close the runs are in this series all time, Sox and Cubs, and they're Velcroed to each other today.
They're pretty close today.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Right field, Ortega. How about a dozen today? We go to the 12th.
Very good year to this point. 20 strikeouts in 21 innings, only 5 walks. Ortega is going to wind up at second base, and Horner's going to lead it off the bottom third of the order for the Cubs.
They still have 2 on the bench, VR and Suzuki. You wouldn't imagine Suzuki would hit at any point considering the injury he's dealing with.
I wouldn't think so.
Sox will have Vaughn, Berger, and Abreu, and it would be mighty nice to not let the Cubs score a run here. Somebody needed to wire Ortega and tell him that he was the runner at second base. Telegram. This was a scoreless tie through 6. Slider, a strike.
Looked like Matt almost fell off the mound delivering that ball. There's been a lot of guys planting that lead foot in front of him this afternoon.
He is the 6th White Sox pitcher. The Cubs have used 5. Left center field. Engel skates over and makes the catch. Looked dangerous off the bat, but it hung up.
When that left the bat, I thought that was going to find the gap. Horner normally hits the ball pretty hard. Does not have a hit today. Adam Engel was shading him over into right center field. Still runs it down easily. He is a really, really good center fielder, and Horner is apoplectic at first base.
That makes at least 3 of us who thought that was a hit off the bat, because you and he can add me to that list.
Yeah, but run down by a very good center fielder.
Here's Higgins. Ortega at second. That's ball 1. So I told you earlier that my opinion was the only thing Cubs and Sox fans could agree on is that throws to first weren't acceptable. The other thing that Cubs and Sox fans are both doing right now in the stands is changing dinner reservations. Yeah, that 6 isn't going to work.
Well, Matt better be careful because he is allowing a whole lot of liberties for Ortega. Nice pickoff throw to second base, and I think Josh is telling him, take a look at me, because he was a step from the bag as Ortega was taking a big lead off second.
One and one. Two balls and a strike. The Sox will have Danny Mendick at second base, Vaughn, Berger, and Abreu coming up.
Okay, PJ, here's your next instruction. Swing at the next pitch. Swing, batter.
2-1. It missed. 3 balls and a strike. Three and one. Higgins takes a called strike. Oh boy.
I think that had a piece of the upper part of the zone. Higgins didn't. We'll watch it again. Too close to take.
Now too close to take has expanded its portfolio to 1 strike. 3-2. Fouled away on a fastball by Higgins. It's just his 14th major league game. Not 40 at-bats through his major league career. And he's been involved in a couple of wild plays today, including a wild pitch that got away from him after just a sterling first 8 innings.
Yeah, I think he was terrific behind the plate.
3-2 from Foster. That's off the plate, ball 4. 2 on for Andrelton Simmons, who will hit a ground ball every once and again. This game's gone so long, our crew up in the booth is rationing pretzels. We're down to 1 bag, and they're being tossed.
We started out with multiple bags.
Oh yeah, we were lousy with pretzels.
I know, and now they're gone.
A gust of wind did ship some pretzels down floorward earlier, probably around the 8th or so.
Boy, a ground ball would look awfully good right here.
Wouldn't it though? 2 on, 1 out. Called a strike. Too close to take?
Absolutely. Strike zone's getting higher.
Join us for our TED Talk. 2 on, 1 out. Foul ball back toward us and just wide.
That was almost here.
That was playable too.
Yeah, it came back fairly softly.
I lost it about halfway through, and I was hoping that it wasn't.
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
So the end of the sentence is the reason the first part won't ever happen. Going 2. tipped foul. Morel ends up playing hacky sack with it on the on-deck circle.
Boy, that slider was off the plate probably 4 inches. And Simmons somehow was able to spoil it.
By the way, a couple people have asked, but on that play that Engel was sent back to second base, it's not a judgment call for the umpire on where he is. It's a dead ball situation, and the guy goes back to where the play started.
Dead ball, no advancement.
2 strikes to Simmons. Up high, 1-2. Cubs have a doubleheader that starts in 19 hours. And we wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, it's good though.
Test their mettle.
Exactly right. You don't want to get rusty.
Neither did Clark. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. Ortega at second, Higgins at first. See how big that walk is, if at all.
Got to see how big that lead is at second base.
Popped up. Back of home, Yasmani Grandal has no play. Row 1.
There's a break for Simmons. That one went over the screen. A row too far to be played.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Outside a slider, 3-2 for Simmons. This is a massive pitch.
This one could go a long way deciding this ball game.
Three-two, runners go, and Simmons hits it skyward. Foul territory, first base side. Grandal, oh wow, unbelievable how he made that catch. He got all turned around, and he finally put it away. Whoa.
That was absolutely a wonderful play on a very windy day, and the runners took off again. Matt doesn't look at second base, and what an effort by Grandal.
Simmons, like how?
He can't believe he made that catch. That was just an outstanding play. And David Ross has their runners going with only 1 out. I mean, what a gamble it was, but they're not holding him all that close on the bases.
That is a huge catch
by
Grandal.
Yes, it is.
I mean, he was all twisted around, and he finally put it away. So 2 down for Morel. Check swing grounder, first base side. Jose's on it, and that'll do it. That runner at second base is the winning run when we start the bottom of the 12th.
An excuse me swing turns into gold, and the Sox need a run.
Take your pick on who will finish the ball game. We'll find out. Sox can walk it off here. Andrew Vaughn takes Strike one with Danny Mendick at second base here in the 12th inning. All it takes is one.
One thin run.
On the ground, second base. Simmons gets out number one. Mendick to third.
Time now for the momentum changer presented by First Midwest Bank. And it's this play by Yasmani Grandal, which was a great one. The wind, the shadows, and he comes back and makes the catch. Could very well be a game saver. That was a terrific at bat by Vaughn because he knew he had to get the ball to the right side. He inside outed it. He got it to the right side. And Mendick was able to get the third, bringing the infield in and the outfield in. I mean, that was a special at bat. It's not going to look like much. It's a ground out to second. But watch this swing. Inside out swing, almost guiding it to the right side. And that's all it took. Winning run 90 feet away.
And now David Ross out of the dugout to talk to his infield with Mendick at third, Berger the batter. And if they get Berger, you would imagine they would not pitch to Abreu.
Well, look, he wants to bring the outfield in, which they should be. I think
they might do 5 infielders here, Steve.
Yep. Put one right in front of second base.
Yep. Morel's coming in from center.
He's a normal infielder. I mean, an infielder by trade, so this is not unusual for him. He uses his infielder's glove, which is smaller, so you can get the ball out than the one he uses in the outfield. And then he and Simmons are talking about how they want to defend this.
They're going to go 3 to the left, 2 to the right. On second down and 6. So they've completely vacated center. If the ball goes to center, the game's over. Even short center. 5 infielders for the Cubs. Berger to left, and that is game. 5 infielders. Doesn't matter. The Sox take the long way home, 5-4.
This was a tough day for Jake Berger. He hung with it. He got his first hit of the day, and it turned out to be a game winner. So the Sox battled back a couple of times, and they wind up taking the season series 3 out of 4, sending the Cubs back to the north side where they'll play a doubleheader. And the Sox will head on this road trip, losing no ground in the standings.
Tell you what, this team, which at points has been maddening, and I know they've been frustrated and people watching have been frustrated, but there were 4 times or so today where you could have just packed it all up and gone home, and they didn't. And Jake Berger serves up the game winner.
Well, Berger's going to continue to get some play because he's been swinging the bat very well. And on a team star for offense, Jake Berger is providing it. That means he's got to get, in football parlance, more reps.
Cubs were playing the run and shoot on the infield, and Jake Berger beat him.
Yep. Just served it over the defense, and end of the ball game.
Well,
Couldn't
that was
have come
something.
at a better time, by the way.
I mean, that was something, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was. Well, here's the thing. You have a tendency to really enjoy those when you win them. It deflates you when you lose them. The reality of the game is the Sox didn't play very well, and they came away with a win. What I liked about it was they kept fighting back. They knew they made some mistakes, but it really didn't matter because they never lost sight of the goal, which is win the game, and they battled back. And Jake was one of those guys that battled back.
Jake Berger joins us from downstairs. All right, they bring in a 5th infielder. What are you thinking?
I actually made eye contact with Danny Mendick, and I just started smiling. I'm like, all right, we'll see. And, you know, fortunate enough to get that pitch to drive it into left field.
Jake, this is one of those days where it was a tough day for you most all the way around. You hadn't had a hit to that point, but it's a game of redeemers. When you went down to the minor leagues and came back, did you think you'd see many moments like this?
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, obviously I made that error in the 7th or 8th, and it gave us we had to score, and so I put that on me, and I want to be the guy that turned it around for us, and I'm glad I got that opportunity there.
Yeah, how long does that type of thing sit with you, Jake?
I mean, that'll sit with me for a while. I mean, I take a lot of pride in my defense, and that's it's always tough to go through that, and it took a weird hop, but I got to be better, and I'm fortunate that I got to have a redeeming hit there.
What was the dugout like as extra innings progressed?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just like, hey, we're still in this. We keep battling, and Foster goes out, gets the 0, and we have the opportunity to win the game. So, morale is high. Obviously, losing a leader like Tim, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but once he exited the game, it was tough for all of us, and we're like, hey, let's win this for Tim.
And you did.
Yep.
Thank you, Jake.
Yep, no problem.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks.
5 infielders won't beat Jake Berger.
Never.
So I will see you coming up next homestand.
I will. I'll see you in a week. Get your rest. Off day tomorrow, but you got the long trip.
You get your rest.
I'll try my best.
All right. So, farewell from Guaranteed Rate Field for our producer, Chris Withers, our director, Dave Turner, our associate producer, Dave Ross, our entire wonderful crew, our tech manager, Mark Harper, Joe Grube, our stage manager. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Subaru White Sox postgame live. We got a winner for you, boys. Take it away.